Good morning and welcome to the AM show. Across Ghana's 16 regions, on Joy News on TV and around the world on myjoyonline.com, you're listening to me, Sweetie Abochi and Benjamin Akakpo, ushering you to the start of a brand new week and a brand new day on the AM show. Now, this morning, we'll start by getting you the news, the AM news, and then we get into our news review segment. Nanaya Jantua is former General Secretary of the Convention People's Party. He would also be joined by Afel Moni, former GJA president, to review the news stories captured in the papers. And then Muftan Abil Abdullahi will bring you AM Sports. After that, our big stories.
Well, we're getting into our big stories, talking about the political campaign trail, basically the EC's audit protests, the Democracy Hub protests, industrial actions, among others. Joining us for those conversations, Dr. John Osai Kwapong. He will be with us. We'll also have Nanaya Jantua staying from the news review and segueing into that segment with us.
Right from there, we'll tell you about our Streets of Despair, the latest Joy News series. And we'll tell you the story of two Kayaye women who are battling the harsh street life of Accra to become nurses after escaping the poverty in their hometown, Tumu, in the Upper West region. This and many more coming up, as well as those wins. Joy News, our multimedia group, won 9 awards at the just-ended Ghana Journalists Association Awards, and we'll be having a conversation with our heroes and heroines and, shed light on the massive work that they've done to earn them those awards.
Well, you'd want to stick and stay with us. It's a Monday morning. We're serving it hot right here on the AM show. Stay. We'll be right back with the news.
Let's get into the details of the AM news. The Ghana Journalists Association has issued a stern warning about the devastating impact of illegal mining, or galamsey as we call it, on the environment, especially on the country's water bodies. GJA President Albert Jumfor, delivering his speech at the 2024 GJA Awards night, insisted that their call for an immediate declaration of a state of emergency on all water bodies and the revocation of LI 2462, which permits mining in forest reserves, remains in effect. Clinton Yeboah has more.
The Ghana Journalists Association President Albert Jumfor delivered a fiery speech holding the country's leaders accountable for the growing menace of illegal mining, also known as galamsey. No one was spared as Jumfor directly addressed President Akufo-Addo, who was seated right front of the packed audience as the special guest at the GJA Awards.
We are aware that some time ago, Mr. President, the father of the nation, made a firm vow to stop galamsey. But regrettably, that promise has not been fulfilled, Mr. President. You are barely 3 months until the end of the administration, and we are hopeful that you will deal with the situation before you leave office. We still maintain that a state of emergency must be declared over our water bodies, and all planned and active mining concessions overlapping with river buffers should be abrogated, and all mining activities within 100 meters buffer of all rivers and streams should be halted with immediate effect. We also reiterate that LI 2462 should be repealed immediately.
The GJA president then turned his attention to the presidential candidates of the two major political parties, John Dramani Mahama of the NDC and Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia of the NPP, urging them to show greater commitment to ending illegal mining. In a passionate appeal, he also demanded the release of several anti-galamsey protesters who are currently facing trial for what police described as unlawful conduct during last week's 3-day demonstration.
But I want to take this opportunity, Your Excellency, to implore these two leading candidates, presidential candidate and all other presidential candidates, to make a firm commitment to the fight against galamsey, so we can hold them accountable when any of them assume office in 2025. However, we also believe that remanding the protesters for 2 weeks is too extreme and does not send positive signals when it comes to protecting human rights.
When President Akufo-Addo took the stage, however, he notably avoided addressing the issue of galamsey, despite a direct call from the GJA for his response. Illegal mining reporter of the year, Erastus Asare Donko, expressed his disappointment in the president's silence on the matter.
I am disappointed tonight that when the GJA president spoke confidently, emphasizing the grave nature of illegal mining across the country and appealing to the president that he should do something about it before he leaves office. I was expecting that the president would make mention at least of illegal mining in his speech, especially at a time when, as a country, all your major rivers across the country are highly polluted and contaminated. And that did not push the president to even mention illegal mining, even for a second, in his speech. That, to me, is a big disappointment.
Reporting for Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
Moving on, NPP for Ifiduasi Asokoro in the Ashanti region and campaign coordinator for the party's Middle Belt campaign, Dr. Nana Ayew says the NPP government will not take any action to stop the illegal mining menace as it will affect the party's electoral fortunes. Dr. Nana Ayew, who is a public health expert and currently the chairman of Parliament Health Committee, was speaking at a campaign event, and he insisted that the party will lose parliamentary seats if it takes any action on illegal mining. Let's listen to him.
Small scale mining, community mining, I find that I'm saying, and you're different from Togo for the working out before the last month, and this is what I thought when you have a group of fame or that. But we are going after that. Me say, the operation we have started this week in the Middle Belt, because the second one say, "Obe boy am a young microphone," and it's all the info no matter what it. You can't say something. Because who say we are winning the seats in the mining areas, so they decided to go and import foreigners. No one know about no man can jump to say we call it real. I'm going to go do. I'm ready for one. The whole year. It's so I have a problem there. And you are my started. And you will be done or per se. And can almost hear Nanka speak. Nanka ya call, Nanka ya stopping and I'm saying for Nanka ya losing a seat. Yes, the pure one. Yes, the pure one. Because there is a difference between mining in the forest as a small scale or community mining. And there's a difference between mining in the river bodies. How much they will stop them? Obibia or mining war. In so no oye nipa bonini. Na to poso be chiaka. And was supposed to chiaka. There's a money a fee. I'm going to do a one who I listen for. I'm going to have a chance. I'm going to be. It is a Amoko Kayano Galamsey. Amoka say, in so good yellow, Amosha can say, Galamsey. No, you very well say, I want to go for about you. I will get you a problem. Me say, all the research is showing that mining sees here losing and we have gotten it back.
Well, there you have it. In other stories, presidential candidates for the Movement for Change, Alan Tremantin, has condemned the arrest of the 52 protesters from Democracy Hub who were arrested after demonstrating against illegal mining, commonly known as galamsey. And speaking at a press conference at the Ghana International Press Center, Alan Tremantin expressed his utter dismay and condemnation for what he deems as an unjust incarceration of the protesters. The following report has more.
Alan Tremantin believes the Stop Galamsey Now protest reflects the collective frustration of Ghanaians at the government's inability to address the environmental destruction caused by galamsey.
Today, I join many Ghanaians from all over the country in expressing my utter dismay and condemnation for the continued incarceration of several young Ghanaians belonging to the Democracy Hub who took to the streets a few days ago to express their anger and frustration at the government's inability to deal drastically and substantively with the challenge of illegal mining, otherwise referred to as galamsey.
He criticized both the current MPP government and the NDC for their failure to deal with the menace over the past 3 decades.
The protests have exposed the failure of the current MPP government and the predecessor government of the NDC over the last 2 years to manage the natural resource endowment of our beloved country in a sustainable way and to optimize the benefits of these resources for the Ghanaian people.
While acknowledging that some of the protesters' actions may have been excessive, he argued that peaceful assembly and expression are constitutional rights. He therefore finds it unreasonable that the police have brought charges of unlawful assembly after allowing the protest to continue for 3 days.
Admittedly, the acts of some of the protesters in the demonstration under reference were excessive in form and character and may have constituted a breach of public peace and order. But let me be clear that it is within the constitutional rights of any and every Ghanaian to express freely their opinions and to assemble in pursuit of their constitutional right of freedom of speech, expression, and movement.
He described the subsequent denial of bail for the protesters as an abuse of judicial discretion. Alan Chamatin also criticized the police for preventing those arrested from accessing legal counsel, medication, and contact with their families, and described their continued detention as unlawful and unconstitutional.
Surgeons involved in the Operation Smile Ghana project, which focuses on reversing palate defects and reconstructing facial features, have raised concerns about the growing number of patients with congenital conditions. Dr. Elliot Akoboham is a lead surgeon, and he highlighted that many of the affected individuals come from areas impacted by illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey. While no concrete evidence has been established, Dr. Boham suspects that the consumption of chemicals and heavy metals from polluted water bodies may be contributing to the rise in these conditions. There's more in this report.
Dr. Boham revealed that many of the patients undergoing surgery have congenital defects affecting their lips and palate. The procedures, he explained, focus on reversing palate defects and resetting the nose and palate to restore normal function and appearance. He, however, raised concerns about the increase in number of patients from areas affected by illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, and emphasized that the destruction of the country's water bodies through galamsey not only affects the environment, but also poses long-term risk to unborn children.
We don't have hard evidence, but if you make a pool of patients and you haven't quite a number coming from such areas, you would naturally attributed to some of these agents in our water bodies. But so a few of the patients we say are syndromic, so they have genetic problems, associations to that. So they may have the cleft lip or palate, but they may also have heart disease or problems with their spine, or their fingers are stuck together, or they have cutaneous anastosis, something like that. So basically, as I said earlier on, you don't really know the exact cause, as you would say malaria is caused by the bite of a mosquito. We can't put a finger exactly on this particular cause, but we know there are a lot of associations. It's been a national topic. This has been a national topic, and we're all concerned about how our water bodies are getting destroyed. And for nothing at all, this is a clear evidence that it's not just about the present or even the immediate destruction of the water bodies, but kids and those who are unborn. The repercussions are dire. We need to really curtail this to make it a better Ghana for us all to live in.
Programs Manager for Operation Smile Ghana, Felicia Babanawo, explains their desire is simply to put smiles on the faces of the people with sight conditions, and they are determined to support the hospitals to undertake such endeavor.
Basically, what we do is to provide a comprehensive cleft care, right from when we find the patient or when the patient is born. We take the patient through nutrition program until they are ready to undergo surgery, because malnutrition is one of the consequences that come with cleft. So we take them through a nutrition program until they are well nourished and are ready for surgery. And then after that, we sequence the patient for surgery, which we do either through a short-term surgical program or a hospital-based program. After the surgery is done, we have other comprehensive care components like speech and language therapy, especially if the patient has cleft palate. And then we also have dental to actually restore the dental function of our patients. So that's basically what Operation Smile does when it comes to direct patient care. Aside that, we try to strengthen the health system that we work with, whereby we train healthcare providers to be cleft competent. When I mean cleft competent, this is not a usual condition within our health system. So we build the capacity of healthcare providers so that they are able to see cleft children, provide care to them to the standard that is required.
Some of the beneficiaries shared with Joy News how excited they are.
I was so depressed that they can't do anything about it. But when I saw my colleague coming from the surgery room smiling, so I was like to be smile or not. Whether they can do it or they will not. I do not know that they can do anything to be corrected by this. So I thank them. I thank them for, I don't know how. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful to see my baby in this condition.
Moving on, residents of Dungu, a suburb of Tamale in the Tamale South constituency, have heaped praises on the NPP parliamentary candidates Musa Hussaini and the flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for reshaping a major road that connects the community to other parts of the area. The residents said the deplorable nature of the road used to be a nightmare to motorists, especially during the rainy season. They made these remarks during the reshaping of the road.
The reshaping of the major road in the Dungu electoral area comes as a relief to the people, considering how deplorable the road used to be. The Dungu road links several communities, including the University for Development Studies, to the regional capital. But the bad nature of the road makes it difficult for commuters to use. Speaking to Joy News, a resident of Dungu, Rabia Isa, said the road was so terrible it affected pregnant women who plowed the road.
The terrible nature of the road made it so difficult for motorists to ply. Most pregnant women were unable to visit the hospital for antenatal care, but now we are happy. After the reshaping of the road, we are able to use it. We are grateful to Honorable Fuzi and Dr. Bawumia.
A former assemblyman for the area, Haruna Momuni, said several appeals to the Member of Parliament for the Tamale South constituency did not yield any results.
We have an MP who is former minority leader, Haruna Idrisu. He has been here for long, almost 20 years. And this road has been there for long. The Dungu community has been crying all the time. All I will come and help Dungu. UDS is in Dungu. Everything is in Dungu. And the road is motorable. The road, you can't, our women, our friends, even UDS Syrians, they can pass here.
The New Patriotic Party Tamale South parliamentary candidate Musa Hussaini accused the incumbent Member of Parliament of neglecting the development of the area, adding that he cannot boast of any meaningful development he's brought to the constituency.
We are reshaping the road to ensure motorists are able to ply the road without any discomfort. We have an MP who is in Parliament for 20 years but has no developmental project to point out in the Dungu electoral area. Honorable Fuzi is not an MP yet, but already bringing development to your doorstep. Give myself and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia a trial and you will never regret it.
Parliamentary candidate.
Now, the Multimedia Group Limited once again asserted its dominance in the Ghanaian media landscape, grabbing a remarkable 9 awards at the 28th Ghana Journalists Association Media Awards. The event held 2 nights ago at the Accra International Conference Center, where Multimedia Group winning most awards, Jamila Abagri, was at the ceremony for Joy News.
You have won the radio program of the year English. Ladies and gentlemen, with another big round of applause, shall we congratulate our friends from the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM from the Multimedia Group.
The announcement of the Super Morning Show as the best English radio program at the 28th GJA Awards held last night. It capped a tall list of awards swept by the Multimedia Group on the night. Joy News PM Express Show was named as the best TV program. The GJA honored several of the company's journalists and contributors, including 2023 PAV Answer Journalist of the Year, Erastus Asari Donko, whose work tackling illegal mining activities in the Apaprama Forest Reserve titled Forest Under Siege won him Illegal Mining Reporter of the Year.
I think it's a testament to the fact that this fight against illegal mining is one pertinent issue today in Ghana. And I think all stakeholders are recognizing that right now.
Muftau Nabila of Joy News won Sport Journalist of the Year, whilst perennial winner David Ando won yet another the Photo Journalist of the Year for his work capturing a pregnant woman failing potholes in the Ashanti region town of Boase.
Excited, but what I can say is that it's a responsibility that has been placed on my shoulder. This suggests that the work I do, people pay attention.
Kwesi Deborah won Science and Technology Reporter of the Year, with Clinton Yeboah winning Student Journalist of the Year.
I feel excited and I feel honored that I've been awarded or been appreciated for what I do. Highlighting human interest stories have been one thing that has been very important to me, because somehow when I highlight these stories, when I do these stories, I don't do them for the affected people. I consider myself in the shoes, because I feel like it can be me, it can be everybody. So I take a particular interest in highlighting the plight of people in the stories that I do.
This year's celebration brought media giants and institutions across the country together under the theme 75 Years of Excellence in Journalism, the role of the media in democratic governance and elections. GJA President Albert Dumfo called for improved conditions of service for journalists.
Given the current economic actions, it is a well-known fact that journalists and media practitioners are among the lowest paid professionals in the country. I want to take this opportunity to plead with the government and the information minister to champion the financial well-being of journalists and resource the state-owned media.
President Akufo-Addo applauded the bravery of journalists in shaping the country in the right direction.
Over the years, I've had the privilege of witnessing firsthand the critical role the media plays in our national life. I have seen how your dedication and courage have shaped our democracy. And as my presidency draws to its end, I could not pass up the chance to honor personally this gathering of Ghana's finest journalists.
75 years of excellence in journalism, the role of the media in democratic governance and elections. The Multimedia Group bagged 9 awards and continue to be the beacon of fearless, independence and credible journalism. Reporting for Joy News, Jamila Abagri. From that beautiful report from Jamila, let's now wait for the
Business Updates by Benjamin Akakpo.
Welcome to our business updates for today. Now, the Acting Commissioner of Insurance, Michael Kofi Ando, is calling for significant investments into research, which will birth innovative insurance products for the informal sector. According to him, a lot of the insurance products on the market do not suit the local Ghanaian economy. He spoke at the launch of the inclusive insurance clinics, which are expected to improve coverage in the informal economy.
Two key things we are trying to do on both the supply and demand side. On the supply side, we are trying to do the capacity building, develop the skills of people so they can learn about all the things they need to do to effectively get insurance out to those who need them. And on the demand side, we are trying to do these clinics, raising awareness of the people who need these insurances so they will know what kind of insurance they need, what they can use it for, and when to get it, and when they have a problem, where to go and who to talk to. We need to find ways around making it attractive, making it suitable to our people. So innovation becomes very key. And that is why, indeed, in the Insurance Act, there is provision for innovation. So you must have heard about innovative insurance licenses. And that is just a sandbox system to encourage people to come up with innovations and to test those innovations and see how they operate before they bring them out to the market.
In our second story, the Ghana Exim Bank is asking small and medium enterprises to apply for technical and financial support from financial institutions. According to the head of SME banking, Bright Evans Darko, SMEs should take advantage of the SME Growth and Opportunity Program to boost their operations. He spoke to Joy Business.
For SMEs who want CapEx, want to build factories, want to buy machines, they have up to from 300,000 to 20 million Ghana cedi in loans. And for those who want working capital to boost their business or their operations, they also could take from 300,000 to 20 million Ghana cedi. Is available for them. For the CapEx, they could have it for 6 years and with a maximum of 2 years moratorium. For the working capital, they could have it for 3 years with a moratorium of 6 months. You can apply online through our website, www.eximbankghana.com, or you could go to any of our 5 branches, pick an application form, fill it. There are requirements at the back page that you need to meet, documentation that you need to attach to the application form and submit to us. When we receive it, if you qualify for it, we process it, approve it, and then you get a facility.
It's a wrap for all the business updates. Handing over back to Sweetie Habochi.
Up for the AM news on the AM show. Stay with us because now the conversations begin. Let's start with a news review. And we'll be joined by Nana Yachapim Jantua, former General Secretary of the CPP, as well as Afel Moni, former GJA President. Stay tuned.
Welcome back on the AM show. Time now for us to bring in our guests for the news review. And joining us, we have Nanaya Achimpim Jantua. She is former General Secretary of the CPP. She's been with the PURC. And especially with that latest development from the PURC, I'll be speaking to her about what her thoughts are. We also have Afel Moni. He is former president of the Ghana Journalists Association. And of course, on the back of that latest journalism awards, we're going to speak to him as well. They join us for the news review. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
Great Ben.
Thanks for the accolade. And of course, Sweetie Abochi is also here.
The rising star.
Thank you.
Anyway, so I wanted to say something in addition, but I realized I should say I'm being mischievous this morning, so I'm not going to go there. I like the new hairdo, by the way. I like short cuts. So Not short cuts, short haircuts, la coiffure. Okay, so like we usually do, we'll give you a minute each to talk about some matters arising. I believe some of the papers capture, I believe it's the Daily Graphic capturing the Ghana Journalism Awards, so eventually we can get there as well. And then there's the PURC and other developments. Afil Money, I'll start with you.
Naturally, the DJ Awards and the winners are on top of the dizzying news cycle. And I will seize the opportunity to sprinkle a stardust of commendation on all the award winners, especially the utmost winner, Edward Adeti. Of course, I had tipped Erastus Asaridonko to win the award based on one critical criterion of selecting the general surveyor, that is social impact, in terms of impact of his works, his exposes, and the risks to which he's exposed. I thought he was in a comfortable lead, only for him to overtake him by Adeti. This is not to say that Adeti does not deserve the ultimate award.
Right.
He does. Who am I to question the panel? So congratulations to Multimedia for sweeping as many as nine awards, and it cements your solidity as the most fearless, credible media house in this country. And let me also add that yours is a media house of distinctive quality. No doubt, you keep on producing journalists of topmost quality. And I'll go ahead to mention names like Evans, who deserves to win the Journalist of the Year. And then there's a gentleman on my right who's also gained name recognition as one of the most fearless, forthright journalists in this country, the great Ben. And on my left, a lady with a sweet name and making strides each and every day. Sweetie, my own daughter, Nancy Thompson, and a host of them.
Mamisi Thompson.
Mamisi Thompson.
I mean, PM Express won on the night. So at least Evans and team, something to be proud of, all of us, something to walk home with. Here's my feeling. I feel every year, and I am not very sentimental or emotional about awards. I've never been, the type to. I've never been the type to think that, oh, you need an award before you get recognition. Whenever I step out there, within Ghana, outside of Ghana, it's recognition enough. But I feel there are so many people who every year would be in that bracket, would qualify.
Sure.
And so, I mean, one person ultimately will win it.
Sure.
And salutes to all of those who have won it from, it's been decades long.
Yeah.
And everyone who wins it deserves it. So we salute all of them.
There was a time we asked the media houses to nominate because many are those who feel reluctant to send their submissions to be assessed for awards. And this system was...
And I, for example, I never do.
So this, in order to rope in people like you, we asked the media houses to make their own selections. And that system was blatantly abused. So we had to discontinue that system.
I see.
And everybody has a sense of achievement. And GG Awards are the pinnacle of such achievement. So congratulations to all the award winners.
Congratulations to our team and to all those who won from other, Clinton Yabwa in terms of young journalism and all the others, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi for sports and all of that. Yeah.
So that he supports the wrong team.
He supports the wrong team. We'll see about that. Nanaya.
Yes. And if we are talking about the same DJ, who is the
whatever is on your mind.
Person who won?
Edward
Aditi.
I don't know him.
He's an investigative journalist. Forth Estate.
He's with this entity. I just have to check.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. It's the Fourth Estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Media Without Borders. That's what I saw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Media Without Borders.
Okay, congratulations to him. But when we were young in journalism, normally these awards are given to
older.
Yes, conventional media houses.
Should that?
I'm just asking. I'm just wondering.
I feel some of those things are a bit.
But
so unless you get to one of those conventional ones, you will never win.
I don't know him, but I'm saying that. I mean, that is what was the norm.
Okay.
Erastus too has done very good.
Erastus, yeah, Erastus.
I thought he was. But it's okay. Whatever the DJ decides to do, I mean, that's it. I think it was a great okay. I watched it on TV. For some reason, I wasn't invited. And why are you looking at me like that?
That is serious.
Yes.
Have you always been invited in the past?
Yes, because we are one of the pioneers of DJ.
Okay.
That was, as young people, that was our playing field. And
oh, I see.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that was anytime you are free, you pass by. And so, and when Auntie Gifty was getting the secretariats for us, Gifty Afenida, we're all around her.
So maybe a few things have slipped through the cracks.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
I mean,
Mr. Jumfor, if you are watching us this morning,
yeah, I was always
Auntie Jantua is saying,
Bright Blue and everybody. We were always around. I was with them.
The emeritus, General Secretary Emeritus.
Yeah, General Secretary Emeritus.
Okay, so let's quickly get to your thoughts.
What are my thoughts? I think my thoughts I've heard is going to be a main topic at the discussion segment. But when I was coming, I heard that we don't have enough vaccines for rabies. Dogs. Rabies. Okay, I'll come to that. We don't have enough vaccines for rabies.
But there have been times when human beings, and babies and the rest, there have been shortages.
But you know rabies is a very deadly
Oh, it is. It is.
And it can be given.
And we have a poor vaccination system in Ghana. There are lots of people with not just canines, but other pets that need rabies.
One in 5
shots
has been vaccinated, and we have to meet that by 2030 we should eradicate rabies. So I don't know under which ministry. Is it a ministry of?
I mean, this is veterinary medicine.
So it's
and this is health. Animal, maybe not animal husbandry,
no, it
but
can be animal
because they are pets, they are not.
Pets, yeah.
But I would want to think somehow it would fall under the agric ministry.
Yeah, but
in some way.
Dogs are not okay.
Well, this is just my assumption, not to say that.
The tariffs too have been in. I said, hey, these people will kill us. But you see, it's also a factor of how well the economy is doing. Because the reasons they give, inflation has come down, but the exchange rate is high. You get me? The dollar to CD is not pleasant. So if it's a bit of a worry that we are seeing increases every quarter. For me, it's possible it's a conditionality by IMF. Because the only reason, the other factors, availability of the service, the cost of the service.
Right.
We need to also look at the generation mix, which is key with the hydro overflowing its banks. What kind of generation mix are we using? The dependence on hydro and, I mean, they need to come further.
Right.
Because if you talk about only exchange rates and inflation, there's the generation mix. How much thermal are you using? How much hydro are you using? So what is the cost component of these? Certainly,
right.
When you mix the two, what are you getting? Do you understand? So sometimes the cost components of the generation mix can negate the impact of the exchange rate.
Okay.
So we need to have a broader explanation. You can't just bring a press release and say that it is inflation and exchange rate. If it's inflation, inflation has dropped dramatically from 54 to about 20 point something. Yes, the exchange rate is high. So in all the parameters, as we stand, is it the exchange rate that is only high? what can negate the impact of the exchange rate?
Right.
And if not, you have to let us know. But just saying that it was by exchange rates and inflation. Inflation is low, so truly, if that's what you are saying, then it means that there's a problem.
All right, there could be a problem.
Yeah.
Let's spend the rest of the time digging into the papers and talking about, there are so many stories, Daily Graphic, Custodian, Ghanaian Times. I'm seeing a story here, for example, in the Ghanaian publisher, Baumia leads Mahama in latest polls. We'll scrutinize those. But let's start with Sweetie Abochi. What stories do you have quickly?
I have the Daily Graphic, and of course, we spent some time already talking about the, fallouts from the GJA awards. But what I found very interesting was that even after the GJA president called on the president of the country.
He looked angry.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the video circulating on social media show the president was, his body language. I said, was trying to tell Albert Dumfo that, what did you try to do over there? And I thought that was interesting. But after he climbed the stage to deliver a speech, not even an acknowledgement that, okay, at this point, we're in the same room, I'm sitting right in front of you, and you've said this, I've heard you. There was no indication.
Oh, did you have an issue?
No, I'm not talking, I don't think there's any bad blood, but the fact that he mentioned illegal mining, condemning the arrest of these people in the detention, talks about how the president put his presidency on the line by nearly 8 years. It's as if we've lost the fight and now it's affecting our water supply. I was expecting some sort of acknowledgement.
But he's smiling.
Or instant response.
But he just completely ignored the entire subject matter of galamsey as if it doesn't exist. Anyway, so I'm just, adding that.
And he also mentioned that attacks on journalists is an attack on our democracy.
Yes, he did.
I guess that didn't sound very palatable.
So I'm just saying that
it shouldn't sound palatable.
No, but I'm saying that for whatever reasons, because I've seen some things on social media purporting certain things, which I can't repeat because I've not verified those. But it definitely has stoked anger in certain quarters, and it's always funny. I was out of this country for a number of days, and still with my blunt thoughts, which I left behind, I got some interesting comments from people from a certain political end shooting, and I sent them messages back. This country, we are very interesting people. Let me just leave it there. Very interesting people. Sweetie, please go ahead with your thoughts.
Where was I again? Let me skip from that and do the story about GHS rolls out new vaccines in 136 districts. Also because we're talking about vaccination and the challenges in there. It reads, the Ghana Health Service has commenced the rollout of newly introduced malaria vaccines in 136 districts in 11 regions as part of efforts to eliminate the devastating impact of malaria on children. And the subnational introduction of the vaccine, which is now part of the routine child immunization program in Ghana, will lead to the vaccination of about 200,000 children between the ages of 6 months and 18 months each year. The vaccine, the doses will be administered in 4 schedules for children at the ages of 6 months, 7 months, 9 months, and 18 months to be fully protected. It's not enough to just begin or roll out this initiative. It's how effective it would be and the sustainability of it. I'll leave that and come to you later for your thoughts. But let me just do 2 more stories in the Daily Graphic, and then it would be a wrap for that. Reject NDC's candidate forms. Petitioner appeals to the EC. There was a story here. Ghana makes strides in integrating AI into curricula. Let me get into this. Ghana is one of the 15 countries out of 198 member nations of UNESCO that has successfully integrated artificial intelligence into its school curricula. Successfully? How successful has it been? The current standard-based curriculum for computing in primary 4 to 6 primarily focuses on the practical applications of AI. Quote, thus, it includes some foundational concepts of AI ethics. It also introduces students to databases, AI techniques, programming, and algorithmic thinking. From junior high school 1 to 3, students delve into computational thinking, encompassing the subs. Really? Is this really happening in our schools? Do we have AI in our curriculum for junior high schools? Are you familiar with
No,
this is coming as a shock.
Very alien, yes.
Anyway.
Well, let's say we don't know.
We don't know.
Let's say we don't.
Maybe it could be.
But I know some.
If
I know
it's
people in junior high school. And anyway, I'll find out from them.
But you've never asked them whether they are taking any programs in AI.
They are not allowed to even use AI. So
anyway, so let me leave it there for your quick reflection. So GJ,
Nanaya, they may not be allowed to use AI to work on their exams, or at least maybe they can use it for research. But this is teaching them about AI. So,
so why do you teach me about AI if I can't use it? Is it for my bedroom?
No, but the point
I know,
is...
I mean, seriously, if you teach me...
Ben,
if you teach me about AI, you are teaching me to use it. If you teach me about a computer, you are teaching me to use it. So why do you teach me?
My studies in national security law and practice, we had AI cybersecurity components. It didn't mean in exams you were expected to use AI.
No, but why did you... So to do what?
But it's a knowledge base. It's a knowledge base.
No, but you are teaching
It's exposing them to artificial intelligence.
To use it for research.
The story is that Ghana is one of 198 countries who successfully integrated AI into their curriculum.
You have even Western them.
No, that's the story. I'm just putting it in perspective.
If you integrate
AI successfully.
If you integrate AI into your curriculum, it means you are telling me that I can use it.
But there are different ways of using AI without
them about AI
without cheating. So we shouldn't teach them about artificial intelligence and what it's doing across the world.
We should teach them, but they can also use it for research.
No, but that's all part of it.
They don't allow...
What is unacceptable is using it, to take your exams or
but it's the same
using
thing.
it. No, but it's not the same.
Okay, but you see, we waste time. But if I use AI for research, the data I get, the information I get, I use it to write an exam.
No, but researching is different from saying that. You know what ChatGPT, sometimes can be used for. So you have young people basically keying in the question and everything, or some people, and then copying exactly what is there and pasting. That is not thinking. That is not work. You can still use AI for research, glean what information you need, and then repurpose it and use it. It's not the same thing as just
me to use it. And I can do it easily.
So your point is we shouldn't show them how to use it at all.
If you show me and they use it, it's okay. But they prevent them from using it. Do you get it?
Ayo. We hear you.
If you show me the idea.
Sweetie, any other stories?
Yeah, no, let's review those and then move on to other papers.
I also see there on the page next to this one, the National Science and Math Quiz launch, and they will actually be passing through today as well. So we look forward to that. Nanaya?
Afamon, we haven't heard.
Okay.
The president's admonition to journalists to safeguard our democracy is banned by the Ghanaian Times. And we also have a story which says President's daughters not involved in illegal mining. This is a rebuttal to the allegations leveled by Honorable Okejetu. And then
I think the mere fact that we get here where we are asking whether SMSC is involved or not is itself a problem. But that's all I'll say.
Thanks. Electricity tariff goes up by 1.86%, water by 3.02%. Give me the precarious economic position of the ECG and Ghana Water.
The water, you don't even get it and they are increasing it.
So I think we need to bear with the PRC in this instance. This is my humble take. And court invalidate 1,000 voter transfers to Menchia South constituency to dismiss security personnel, civilian jail for 19 years for robbery, the Ghanaian Times. And Ghanaian Times has an editorial on the JJ Awards congratulating the award winners.
So the PRC tariff bid, I see that story. If you would just briefly, right on the next page, electricity tariff goes up 1.86%, water 3.02%. I think that sums it up. Nanaya, what is your take on that?
I said it. I mean, this is it. They said that the indicators are the exchange rate. That's what I heard, exchange rate and inflation. But they should give us the full details of the generation mix. I mean, the price of crude oil, the inflation, which one is the highest in the whole thing.
The mix.
And especially the fact that now hydro is at a certain level. You should let us know if we are using more hydro than thermal. And hydro is cheap. Or it is like just a condition for IMF that they should do the automatic adjustment formula. Automatic adjustment formula does not mean that you should increase. And I'm saying that inflation has come down from 54 to about 20.8. So inflation is gradually falling. So what is it that...
But you would admit that that inflation is not, or the deflation, whichever way you want to look at it, is not reflective of the exchange rate. The exchange rate is actually still in the doldrums. Have you seen what the Swiss franc is? Last time I checked, it was 18 point something. The pound is over 20. The dollar is approaching 17.
But they use the dollar more.
Exactly. That's exactly the point.
So I'm saying that they should do the calculation for us to see that if exchange rate is maybe 17, what are they using to generate the electricity? Certainly, if they are using hydro more than thermal, then it should come down a bit. And I'm saying automatic adjustment formula does not mean you should always increase tariffs. You can maintain it.
There's a whole lot that goes into these, and I'm sure you are fully aware.
You can maintain it. You can reduce it. As long as there's some movement in the tariff at the quarter, you have done AF. So it is not always that you have to increase. So if they are talking about the exchange rate, then they should really let us know exactly what it is.
But apart from the exchange rate factor, one story which is trending is that ECG is teetering on the brink of collapse. So they will need...
But that doesn't mean, you see, the ECG...
So they need...
Yeah, something just to push them.
No,
but you see, those problems, first off, I stand on both ends because as a consumer, especially if you're using one of the new meters, they run pretty fast. Yeah. And it's a lot more to pay.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Imagine those who may be Lifeline, even Lifeline users now, and you know that has been lowered. So now more people are above the Lifeline zone. It's a precarious economic situation. On the other end, we have to ensure that, like you're saying, power generators and distributors remain viable. But the point, my final point is this. Governments have done things. For example, the GNPC. You know, it is owed about, though it is funded by government, it is owed about $1 billion. Sure. There are loans, we'll say, oh, GNPC guarantee for car powership, guarantee for VRA, even ECG.
That's what I was coming.
You see, all of these are the problems affecting the institutions.
We would not,
the same government.
We would not use a tariff to solve the problems of ECG. ECG was given a major tariff, in the major tariff review, it was given a certain amount of money which represent the cost of the service that they are going to provide, which also equates to the revenue requirement they need, and also an 8% rate of return as in profits. There's also a benchmark loss of 21%. If you go, that is allowable in the tariff. If you go beyond the 21% benchmark loss, that one is not my loss anymore. Typically, it should be around 15, 10 to 15. So the 21 is 10 commercial, 11 technical. Because the technical, you don't have control over it because the wires business is very expensive. As you wheel power along, you lose the strength of some of these wires. They need cables, they need...
so the bottom line is what? ECG shouldn't be here? Is that what you're saying?
They shouldn't be here. Because you need to be prudent. As you said, ECG at a point ahead bought crude oil for the sector. Why should ECG buy crude oil?
Well, recently,
it is not their job.
Dubik Mahama
has
resigned.
Yes.
There's the new gentleman, his name just escapes me, Asamoah, who has been brought in. Afenyo Markin, the board chair, says ECG is in a good place. There's no crisis. You say they are teetering on the edge. I don't know.
Because
the majority leader, who is board chair, says they are fine.
If your revenue requirement is 1.2 billion and you can collect 842 million, that is more than 50% of your revenue requirement. So you are doing this. So how can you say that ECG is collecting about 43% of their revenue requirement, as was, put in the tariff for them? And every time there is some shoring up of the tithe through the AAF. So why should you have such a low collection rate? Your collection rate is about 90, 95, 80.
And we know that collection rates have increased over time.
No, but collection rate hasn't increased over time because your loss has increased.
No, I'm saying that the collection rates have increased. They have increased, but the losses have also increased.
Yeah,
so
but
in the end,
you can't have a good collection rate and have the cash is different. We are talking about percentages.
Ah, well.
Because if you are doing, I've heard they are doing about 28% loss. If you do a 28%,
which is huge.
Which is huge. If you are doing a 28% loss, your collection rate will not improve.
Right. Any other? Do you have any other stories before we get to Nanaya's paper?
DJ, I was still trending, and there's a call for investigation into illegal mining activities, and it's coming from the country director for Africa Institute for Small-Scale Mining, Alhaji Abdul Salam Yusuf. He said Ghana is on the brink of environmental catastrophe due to the unregulated mining, popularly known as galamsey, which is needed to be addressed immediately to avoid further harm to the health, well-being, and future of its citizens. This point can hardly be articulated. And to go back to what Sweetie said, Nanado was rattled by the reference to galamsey and a state of emergency call, and the fact that he had put his presidency on the line. I would have expected the president to anticipate the raising of such issues.
But
would have prepared to.
You know, these things with our leaders, and not just Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, with our leaders, I wonder sometimes, because I checked out this post, for example, purportedly from 2014, I think the 10th of September, interestingly, we are in. And the post then was, where it is necessary to criticize me, do not hesitate. Point out when things are going wrong. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, 2014.
And the platform was the final.
Maybe different strokes for different folks.
Politicians for you.
Me that day I thought, okay. He said latest survey gives Bawumia 49.4%, Mahama 45.1%. MPP marches for victory 2024. Avoid fake news towards.
Why did you say?
Why do you have a problem? Do you have a problem with that headline?
My dear, you see,
Are they not marching for victory? Ah, well.
What's happening now? So we more, and then she will go to game.
You see this picture. When I saw Nanado on TV that day, I was like, sometimes he should manage his emotions, because this picture is a real Nanado. The way he's smiling. Do you get me? So that day when I saw him, I said, did somebody make him angry before he came here? Because he's a very seasoned politician and he should be able to take some of these things.
No, but he's being himself.
Especially,
no, he's being himself.
No,
let me just tell you this. Let me tell you this. A few years ago, when I went for the Global Climate Adaptation, about 2 years ago, event in the Netherlands, it was so funny because, of course, I do my blunt thoughts and I blast, the system and all of that. It was so funny because the president came in his car and Professor Verkooyen, we are at this side, the Ghana entourage is here, and they are, going, no. And he gets out and he's smiling in that direction. And I'm saying this with all honesty. Those of you who watched it, you can go back and watch. A lot of people were on the thread asking, wait till you do the president. Because immediately Professor Verkooyen tells him, and Benjamin Akakpo from Joy News takes a look and the mood. There was a switch from. No, but I understand.
I won't understand.
I may not be the most pleasant person for him. It's okay.
When you are a president, you are president for all. And you have to.
But he also has emotions.
Yeah, he's human.
He's a human being.
Yeah,
I beg you.
He's a human being with emotions.
Perfection is an impossible goal.
No. You have to check yourself to see where you are.
There's a limit to which you can check.
No, there's no limit to, because you are the president, you are a public figure. One thing that even made me sad was when they were adulating Fati, that she's the best, and everybody, one of the best, everybody was clapping, being a woman. He just sat there and looked at them as if, what are you talking about?
You mean the information
Yes, the
minister?
information minister. And truly, Fati has been doing well.
He has any qualms with the information minister?
I do not know. I am just saying that in public, if you have a position, you need to manage your emotions. Because you see, there are times that you even quarrel from wherever you are and you come in. You have to manage. When I was general secretary, there are times we are from a leadership meeting and we are quarreling. And by the time we get down, there's a press conference, we are all together. You don't show that you're upset. You have to learn that. Because it is not good for the optics.
So you're talking of emotional intelligence.
Yes, it's not good for the optics, especially being the president. Because as I see, when I saw this picture, I said, then what happened that he changed back into his normal self? As you're saying...
Mood swings.
No, please. How can you say a president who has mood swings? Then we are in trouble. It's
why is a president above emotions?
Please, I beg you, if you take a position to be a president, it's a difficult one. No, you don't have your life anymore. Everything about you changes.
But to be fair, whether it's here or in the US,
you
would see that there are times journalists pose questions and presidents would react to it. You can tell from the facial expression also. Maybe they don't go over the top, but like I said, even with my personal encounter, I don't hold it against anybody. It's
Ben, you are not.
I understand. You say once you get to that office, you have to. But it's a human.
No, his mood didn't come during the speech. When he came, when I saw that mood, it was the Nigerian. I don't know whether the Nigerian ambassador to Ghana or somebody was speaking, and he didn't look. He didn't look happy at all. It was even after that the GJ president came to speak. Do you get me? So I'm saying that when you are a leader and you are in public, you need to manage the mood in which.
All right, point made. Let's go to the next thing.
So we've talked about it. MPA targets 50% gas usage.
But it seems you dodged the survey, Anaya.
I've spoken now. Hey.
But let's get some details from there. Or do you want me to? Because I'll also get into that.
The survey gives Baumia 49.4, Mahama 40. Who did the survey?
So read for us.
You can show me glasses.
All right. So let me.
The latest survey by Research Organization Outcomes International has given Dr. Baumia, the presidential candidate of the NPP, a slight edge over John Mahama, the presidential candidate of the NDC in the December 2024 presidential elections. It indicated that if elections were held today, Dr. Baumia would get 49.4% of the votes, Mr. Mahama 45.1%, with other presidential candidates 0.3% of the votes, and undecided voters standing at 5.2%. Okay. According to the survey, Baumia is also projected to win 11 out of the 16 regions, while former President John Mahama is expected to take 5 regions. The survey was conducted between August 15th and September 15th. Surveyed thousands of registered voters across all regions of Ghana. This is not the first time Dr. Mahama Baumia has taken the lead in polls, as various credible polls have put one candidate ahead of the other at different times. Regional dominance. Dr. Baumia's sweep of 11 regions is a significant boost to his campaign, particularly in the Ashanti region, where he has regained the lead with 64% of the votes. The Central region, a critical and must-win region for the NPP, also shows a significant recovery for Baumia. Mahama's challenge. Former President Mahama, who has been unsuccessful in his previous bids to return to power since 2016, faces an uphill battle. His campaign has focused on resetting Ghana's economy and governance, but remains to be seen if this message will resonate with voters. As the election draws near, both candidates will need to win over undecided voters and maintain their strongholds. With the polls showing a close contest, the next few weeks will be crucial in determining the outcome of the elections.
Okay, I think we've got the whole story there. Which group is it again that conducted this?
Research something.
Research what?
Research Organization Outcomes International. Please, you see this.
Well, this is my first time hearing of them.
But the point is that in 2020, that things were not this bad. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama won 9 regions. Do you get me? Anytime MPP, this research, they have a, we should go and look for the, anytime MPP gets 65% in Ashanti, they lose the election.
No, I was stunned when I heard
yes,
that.
Below
because
70, they lose the election.
The MPP always must secure 70-something
in Ashanti region.
To win. So I was even surprised that they were saying he's in the lead with 65%.
In Ashanti.
I don't know
and NDC,
who is doing this research.
Let's say NDC will get 32, maybe Alan will get the rest in Ashanti region.
No, if
leading 11 out of...
the NDC gets 30% in the Ashanti region,
NPP has lost.
That is
yes.
problematic. I mean, per our electoral history.
Yes.
So I don't know who, unless the figure there is wrong.
But my dear, immediately I saw the 65%, then I said this is a flawed analysis. Because
well, I mean, you can give them the benefit of the doubt. What is interesting is that Global Info Analytics, I think a few days ago or something, I saw on X, was saying the reverse of this.
Yes.
That I think the former president he had 50-something%, and that he was winning either 11 or 12 regions. So, but look, I always say that these are polls, like in the US has better systems. When these polls, if they are talking about Nebraska and this district, these polls, I don't pay too much attention to these polls because let's face it, sometimes we know what happens. Let's
move on.
The best poll will take place on December the 7th.
Otunfo said that is where God is the one who installs kings. So let's move on.
And the Bible also amplifies that.
Yes, so let's
Daniel
move on.
2:21.
Yeah, Daniel 2. So let's move on. We've talked about MPP victory for 20 marches for victory 2024. Galamsey protest gone foul. I believe we'll talk about this one later or this thing. Ben, are we going to talk about it later?
Which one?
The Galamsey issue.
Yes, it's one of those issues that...
Okay, so let's put it on the back burner. MPP to win more seats in Parliament survey is the same thing. Nana Jane visits Asante Hene on campaign tour. Democracy Hub protest was politically motivated. NPP manifesto to stimulate economic growth. Bano.
But you see, this point some people in certain quarters are making that this was politically motivated. Let's even say granted, right? It was.
But then we'll come there.
No, hold for me. Let's assume it was, right? They are citizens. They have concerns about what is happening. I don't have to be political to be concerned. But if they do, the Constitution guarantees that they can be political and still be concerned about these issues. Those saying that even if it were, it makes no sense to go about, oh, it was politically motivated. Is the problem there or not?
No, but what is political?
Are we facing the consequences or not? I'm saying that even if you want to go down, it makes no sense to even think about it in that context.
Politically motivated, what is the meaning?
Alan Chemating in his recent 10-point plan also mentions that it is unconstitutional and unlawful from where he sits for these people to be detained. No one is saying, I've said it time and again, and like I said, on the back of my blunt thoughts, I had a big, senior member of the MPP reach out with a portion of the video, and I told him, I'm not saying that what these people did, some of the acts were right, but the reaction, it's overkill. It's like killing a fly with a sledgehammer, and it doesn't work for the optics. But some people are not thinking into these things.
And the worst part is that it's denting our image as a citadel democracy. So we need what is trending outside is not good for it.
No, but the Commonwealth Human Rights Institute, they have written, and I'm praying that it does not affect our bid to head the Commonwealth. Do you get me? And other international bodies have come out to talk about it. So I think it's something that doesn't look very good.
And then next year's global, Journalists Without Borders report. You can tell that because it happens from, so it will feed Press Freedom Index. It will feed into next year's report.
Sure.
I listened to John Major on BBC, and he said that...
The former PM?
Yes, of UK. He said that we should make sure that the young ones don't lose faith in democracy because it is gradually coming up that using some countries as an example, Venezuela and others, Russia, that if the young ones lose faith in democracy, then we are finished. And he was asked the question, what are you afraid of? He said, I am afraid of autocracy. Autocracy where even in a democracy, you find that there's some subjugation. What we are seeing now is autocracy in democracy.
And the fact is that faith in democracy is on the wane.
Yes.
What did you say? Fake?
Yes, faith.
Faith.
Yes,
Faith.
It's on the wane.
Trust,
yes, it's on the wane.
It's dangerous on the wane.
Yes.
So we need to
yes, we need to really
arrest that.
But the latest Afrobarometer report clearly shows it, and we are still acting as though everything were.
Well, when you look, we talk to the young
picture
ones.
Perfect.
What they talk about, I don't want to mention.
It's same with me. When you talk to the young ones,
they are looking
there's
for,
clear despair.
They are looking for some massive takeover, not through democracy.
Right.
So we need to really make sure that our democracy is working. And I think that most of these people who have been incarcerated are young.
And yesterday, Alan Chamati came up with some solutions to this crisis. That's calling for the filing of noli prosequi.
Right.
And discontinuation of this case, release of the protesters.
I think they've punished them enough for whatever infractions that happened there.
Well, it's the AG himself who led this, so let's see whether those actions will be...
Butro Sorgani once said, it's only a fool doesn't change his mind.
Well,
so,
Nanaya, we have to go.
He has said clearly that this is an issue we should leave to the courts. They will not.
And they can change their mind.
Let's leave it to the courts then.
To amplify what Butro Gali said.
But me, this thing,
only a fool doesn't change his mind.
I want to come to.
Well, once some of these matters get to the courts, it's not to. But like he said, maybe filing a noli prosequi might.
Because Ben, I want to come back to this survey.
Our time is up, actually. So
no, it's in the front page. I want to say, with people like Alan Chematin, we are consistently seeing a 4%. But now this person is telling us that all of them will get 0.3%. We are all the surveys, no matter what it is, consistently, we see between 3 to 4% for Alan. Why is it not here?
Well, if you add the 49.4, let's round it up at 50. If you add the 95, there will still be about 5% undecided.
Yes, undecided.
Right. I'm not going to get into my papers, but Sanitation Ministry refutes Mahama's false claim. The claim being that it had misused $150 million allocated by the World Bank for desilting major drains in Accra under the Garrett project. Then don't release land to illegal miners. Ochehene warns landowners in Achim, Buakwa. I will not get on the chieftaincy issue with Galamsey. I will not be tempted to go there today. Akufo-Addo charges journalists be gatekeepers of truth. Bawumia leads Mahama in latest polls, and NPA sensitizes consumers on safe use of LPG and CRM. There's this interesting story, and that was the Ghanaian publisher. The Daily Searchlight released anti-Galamsey protesters, and Alan Chematin says that I'll give Ghanaians minimum wage of 150 to 300 cedis. Hassan Ayariga promises. There's also some 5,000 in there.
Hassan Ayariga.
Galamsey, Ghana may have to import infusions for health delivery. Senkakra, we are getting there. The Ghana Water Company Limited, others keep telling us. The day we get there, I guess maybe we'll wake up. And this final one, Akufo-Addo signs UN's Pact of the Future, but destroys Ghana's environment. Food for thought. I'd like to say a very big thank you, Afeo Moni, former president, Ghana Journalists Association, Nanaya Achipim Jantua, former general secretary of the CPP and also with the PURC. Sweetie Abochi, shall we?
And that's how we're wrapping up for the news review segment. You want to stay with us because sports is coming up next. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome to AM Sports here. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah. The Confederation of African Football has concluded inspection of the Accra and Cape Coast Sports Area ahead of match day 3 of the AFCON 2025 qualifiers. Ghana will be coming out against Sudan. Following the Black Stars AFCON Match Day 2 against Angola at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, the Confederation of African Football considered the playing surface of the stadium inadequate to be able to host CAF Category C matches. They had asked the Ghana Football Association, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and the National Sports Authority to consider reconstruction of the pitch. They also recommended that government should also reconstruct the playing surfaces of Accra and Cape Coast Sports Stadia. However, the Ministry of Youth and Sports asked the Ghana Football Association to contact CAF to come and inspect Cape Coast and the Accra Sports Stadium, as well as that of Legon, because CAF had said that Ghana should select an approved venue for its match day 3 against Sudan outside the country. However, CAF agreed to come down and inspect the facilities, which is the Accra and Cape Coast Sports Stadium. The Accra Sports Stadium was inspected on Friday per Joy Sports sources, whilst the Cape Coast Sports Stadium was inspected on Saturday. The CAF inspection team gave the National Sports Authority some conditions to meet before either of the venues will be approved to be able to host Ghana's game against Sudan, which is likely to happen on October 11. Now let's move on and bring you other stories that have been happening. And Dreams Ladies, they are champions of the Women's Super Cup competition that took place at the Ghana Man Soccer Center of Excellence in Prom Prom. My colleague Lawrence Bedu was there and has details in this report.
Picked up by Kunedu. A quick throw it into. That's a lovely play! My goodness! And Karela United are in the lead. Ibrahim Giasu with Karela's first strike into this game.
That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He took the ball on his left, turned, picked up his spot, and placed the shot at the right corner of the goalkeeper. That was brilliant. The defenders were there, they were caught ball watching, and he took his spot. The keeper.
That's it! Oh my goodness! And Karela are up by 2 goals to 0 in the capital city, in Sanya. And the Pride and Passing Boys celebrate their second. Looks to be the first victory of the season. And it's coming up against a depleted Legon City side. Oh boy, oh boy.
What a sweet counter attack. Quick play. The goalkeeper was his
Those were some highlights in the Ghana Premier League match day 4 as in Stratford, they came up against Accra Lions, and then Midiama FC came up against Basake Holy Stars, Kerala United securing a win against Legon City. But these are the results of match day 4 in the Ghana Premier League. Nations FC were held to a 0-0 stalemate by Accra House of Oak. Chelsea sat at home and drew 1-1 against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Bechim United won 1-0 against Dreams FC. So Dreams FC, after 4 matches, have got 3 points, and those 3 points were all secured following draws in their first 3 matches. Match day 4, they lost to Bechim United. Basake Holy Stars lost 2-1 to Midiama FC. Young Apostles came from behind to beat Ediana Staff 3-2. Heart of Lions drew 0-0 against Bibiani Gold Stars. Legon City sat at home and lost to Kerala United by 2-0. FC Samatex, making a return to the Ghana Premier League after their elimination from the CAF Champions League, secured a 2-1 win over Vision FC. And also, Accra Lions came up against Inshotruman, who are also competing in the Ghana Premier League after their elimination from the CAF Confederation Cup. And it was Accra Lions that walked away with victory. Now, we'll bring in a report put together by my colleague Lawrence Beatty on how Dreams Ladies won the Women's Super Cup, which was held at the Ghana Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram Pram.
1 week of intensive football here at the Ghana Soccer Center of Excellence. In the end, it is Dreams Ladies who make history. Since the inception of the Women's Super Cup, they become the first Northern Zone team to clinch the trophy. It's history for Dreams Ladies. And for Ampem Nakwa Ladies, they will be left to be cursing their stars. Sarah Nyaku opened the scoring for Dreams Ladies in the first half, before Stella Nyamiche doubled the lead in the second half. It was a lifeline for Ampem Nakwa Ladies late in the second half as they halved the deficit, but it was more of a consolation goal than what they would have wanted. In the end, it's a success for Dreams Ladies, a first trophy and a good preparatory to the next season ahead. 1 week of football, everyone is happy, Dreams the happiest. But for me, it's the end of my coverage from the Ghana Soccer Center of Excellence. Lawrence Beidu for Joy Sports.
Over the weekend, the Ghana Journalists Association organized the awards, which is the 28th edition of the Journalists Association Awards. And Joy Sports emerged victorious in the sports category.
Of the award in sports. Ladies and gentlemen, with another big round of applause, please help me welcome our winner for the Sports Award for this year's awards, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi of Joy Sports at the Multimedia Group. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for him. A gripping expose of the 2022 FIFA World Cup as the GFA declared $7.9 million prize money instead of $9 million. He probed deep into the murky financial waters of Ghana's World Cup earnings. Congratulations to you, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi of Joy Sports at the Multimedia Group. You are the GJA Sports Journalist of the Year at this special 75th anniversary edition of the award. Congratulations once again, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for him.
Well, thank you for staying with us. We get into our big stories, quite a number of conversations we have lined up for you this morning. And starting it off, we'll be talking about the political terrain, the political campaign trail, the EC's audit, democracy hubs protests and the actions taken thereafter, industrial actions and more. Joining us for a conversation, we have CDD fellow Dr. John Osai Kwapong. We have Austin Game, a labor relations expert. And we also have joining the conversation in the studio, Nana Ya Achimpim Jantua. Nana Ya is here with me in the studio. Welcome again. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Let me try, Dr. Osai Kwapong, can you hear me, sir?
Good morning, Benjamin. Yes, I can hear you.
It's really good having you, refreshing to have you. Do we have Austin Game?
Yeah, Ben. Good morning.
Good morning.
There.
Good morning. It's good to have you. Gentlemen, you know what they say about ladies first. I'm going to give the first bite to Nanaya, especially as she's a bit pressed for time, and then I'll focus on you two. If that sits well with you, then we can proceed.
That's fine.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, so let's start off the conversation with the political campaign so far, the request for an audit and all of that. Some institutions have even threatened, well, they have spoken on the back of galamsey and other related matters, which we'll get into. But what do you make of the political climate vis-a-vis these calls for an audit and the Electoral Commission's posturing? What's your take on that?
Thank you very much. I think the political climate is gearing up, and it's not as charged as in 2020 and 2016. Yes, I can see that it's not that boisterous and vociferous. And what I also see is that it's as if it's only the two main, like the bigger parties, that you hear them talking all over the place. Yes, you can hear Asan Ayariga talking about his policies, Mr. Honorable Alanche Martin also talking about his policies. And it's not as geared up, but maybe gradually. We have about 2 months to go, 2 months, a few days. Tomorrow will be 2 months, a few days. So let's see how it goes. I am for an audit. I don't know why
Why are you for an audit?
Yeah, because when an audit is done, an audit was done in, I think, 2015 or 2016.
2016.
Yes, there was.
So ahead of the
2016 election, an audit was done, and I don't see anything wrong with us escalating it to a forensic audit, especially against the issues that we found. Voter transfers, names being transferred from one constituency across, and all that, and the BVD machines that are lost. You find the machines in someone. These machines are not, bought in the market. They are specialized equipment. Do you get me? And we don't even know where they are. You don't know where the laptops are. So there's a need for us to do a forensic audit.
The EC, I believe it's Dr. Boss Manasari, has communicated in recent times that they've effected changes, corrections have been made, and they will release that updated voters register in the coming days, if I recall from what I read. Should that give us comfort?
It shouldn't give us comfort.
It shouldn't?
No. There should be a forensic audit. If you go in there and there's nothing and everything is clear, whoever wins the election, if my candidate Nana Nkuma wins the election, nobody will make noise. If His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wins the election, there will be no noise. If His Excellency Baumia wins the election, there will be no noise. Then we all know that we went into the polls with a credible register.
It was a fair fight.
It's a fair fight. So we don't, I don't know why. The EC, I saw in the letter that they said that no private person can come into their system. We are not saying a private person should come into your system. We want an expert to come into your system for all of us. We all sit around the table. Even Alanche Martin had a certain, way that we should do it. That we all sit around the table. And I remember the NDC said the same thing. All political parties will be there. We all look at the register. We find an expert, an independent expert, to do it. Do you get me? At the end of the day, we take out all the nitty-gritty, all the rubbish, all the dirt, all the names that are not wanted, and everybody is satisfied that this is the register we are going with. So I don't know why the EC is resisting this exercise. They should, because everybody, even IEA, that is the background of Jean, the husband is there. They are saying that they should do the audit. Every single person. And the EC should also remember, they don't exist for themselves as commissioners and the chairman. They exist for Ghanaians. They exist for political parties. And I'm a bit surprised that the other political parties, apart from Mr. Alan Chemasi, are not saying anything. This register is about all of us. And when we say that the register is NDC...
I think some of them have spoken. The last time Frimpoma was here, I think she
spoke about
the EC and auditing, and also pointing to what you've mentioned, that in 2016,
yes,
ahead of the election,
there was an audit.
There was an audit,
yes.
And in fact, we even looked at the wording of what Jean Mensah then as head of the audit, the IEA said
yes.
that let's go ahead and do it, and that no matter the cost, we should
no matter the cost, yes.
So I guess the same is at her doorstep now.
Yes, so now she should do it. I don't see why she does. They don't want to do it, because it's as if the NDC wants an audit. The NDC wants to create chaos, and I'm a bit surprised that the MPP is also as if they are the PR for the EC. They are there talking about it, that there shouldn't be any audit. There's not going to be any audit. If there's an audit, they will go to the Supreme Court. It's not their business. You have to let the EC themselves come and tell us that they don't want us to do an audit. They started talking about not doing an audit before the EC came to speak. But whatever it is, whether it has been cleared, whether names have been changed, we want an audit. So that we have 2 months. I don't think an audit will take that long. 18 million people on the road, 33,800 polling stations. I think that we can put ourselves together and do that audit. And it has to be done. A forensic audit of the voters' register is key.
What if it doesn't happen? I mean, we can also talk about the demonstrations on the back of that. You know,
the galamsey one? Or
no, I'm talking about, the NDC.
Yes,
on the 17th or so.
Yes, you see that.
And they say they are going to escalate it. We don't know what that will mean for tension or peace in the country, but without an audit, don't you feel we can still have our election?
No, it won't be a credible election. You see,
you're saying without an audit of this register, the election will not be credible?
People will have in their minds that this register is not credible. It has issues. Do you get me? So immediately you have that in your mind. Anything that happens, then you start asking questions. Please, Ben, we need this country to be intact and to be a whole. We don't need this country to be scattered because of an election. So the EC should do as well and good by agreeing to an audit. There's nothing wrong with it. We ourselves are human beings. Sometimes you do an audit of your life. Sometimes you do a forensic audit of your life, looking at how much you have spent on certain things you think are unnecessary. That money could have been used for something else. So there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Even this is a human institution, so granted that there are mistakes. Do you get me? Maybe we can't hold them too much. So what we have to do is to go into the register and see that everything is okay. What are they hiding? What are they running from? Do you get me? So I believe that for the forensic audit, it should be done. Immediately it's done. Because you see, we don't want to see more people die. 8 people died in 2020 because of election-related issues. Until today, we don't know who killed them. 8 people. Nobody should lose their life and their blood because of an election in Ghana. So we should do everything right to ensure that we get a register, we go through an election that is not questionable. So there is the need for that forensic audit to be done. The demonstration that went on, it was not only the NDC that was there. See, I was there, a PPP was there, other Ghanaians who were not NDC were there. People even joined somewhere in the middle of it. So it was a demonstration for Ghana. And I believe that, you see, if it was the MPP that wanted this audit, I think the NDC and all of us are being too nice. Because if it was the MPP that wanted this audit, we would not sleep in this country. If there were, I remember Nanado went everywhere, went abroad to the Ghanaian community, went to the international community, said that the register is not credible, it has to be audited all over. So I think that the same thing has to be done. Once the precedent has been set, then we should all do that, not in a violent manner, but also bring people on board. I was telling you about John Major, talking about the fact that we need to safeguard our democracy.
Right.
What EC is doing is like an autocracy. We are in a democratic dispensation, but EC is being autocratic. Whatever you say, they will tell you, I won't do it. When I was in IPAC, we used to have a lot of issues. You remember the limited registration? They did it at their district offices.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, and we did a press conference. We went there. They didn't even see us. So this form of autocracy that is coming out of the EC has to be dealt with. We are in a democracy. And the EC exists because of a democracy. The EC exists because of political parties. And the EC exists because of Ghanaians. Without the political parties and Ghanaians, there is no EC. From 1981 to 1991, we didn't have an EC in this country. It is when we decided that we have to go through a democracy, had a referendum. I was a young journalist who was part of the referendum, involving a democratic process. Do you get me? And now we are here. The EC should not create the impression that we are in an autocracy. Okay. We are in a democracy.
The EC should not create the impression we're in an autocracy.
Yes, we are in a democracy.
Just segueing into galamsey, because we have limited time with you. Your flag bearer, Nana Frimpoma, has called for the immediate release of the Stop Galamsey Now activists who went on demonstration, some of them engaging in acts that were not,
very pleasant,
respectable, or acts that you wouldn't expect of demonstrators. But that being said, Alan Tremating has said that the action following their actions are unconstitutional and unlawful.
Okay.
Nana Frimpoma is saying they must be released immediately. Where do you stick to enforcing the law per the letter of the law, and where do you add whatever some people may call refined reactions to it? Do you subscribe to what Nana Frimpoma is saying?
I agree 100% with my flag bearer. And I agree with Mr.
You think they shouldn't have been arrested?
No, you see, the point is that when these demonstrations happen, so many things go. That is why you bring the police. That is why the police is there to deal with crowd control and excesses. So I always ask the question, when the road was blocked, why didn't the police remove the barricade? They could have. Because it's within their right to remove the barricade. So why didn't they remove it? Why did they allow it to go on? Because they are armed, the demonstrators are not armed. So they should have just removed the barricade. And that is why they are there, to make sure that there are no excesses. So you see to it that the excesses is done and you later on arrest them. Okay, you arrest them. You arrest them to punish them for maybe 1 or 2 days. But the courts have decided to remand them. And truly, the court have their own reason, but it is not right.
Well, the courts didn't just wade into the matter. The Attorney General took it up.
Okay, the Attorney General took it up to court, isn't it?
And some are saying now there should be
because they don't,
a nolle prosequi on it, a filing of no case. So
they didn't have access to a lawyer, I hear. Some didn't have access to their medicines. Some didn't have access to their relatives. And these are...
I hear some didn't have access to food and drink. At least
and water.
Per the lawyer.
Yes. So you see, when we segregate this from the actual actions, this one is a breach of their human rights. Do you get me? As the Commonwealth Human Rights Institute said, that these are a breach of their human rights. And also they said that the Ghanaian police should do well with their crowd control mechanisms. And the crowd wasn't even big. The crowd was...
It was a pretty small crowd.
Yeah, pretty small crowd. When we went for the Enough is Enough demonstration, it was huge. We were hemmed in between horses and policemen. It was huge. Do you get me? Crowd control horses. It was a huge crowd. And no incident happened. When we got to Parliament, they barricaded the place that we cannot enter. The leaders of the demonstration will enter to present the petition. Do you understand me? And it was well done. Over 100,000 people, there was no incident. I don't think these people were even 1,000. I don't know. Do you get me? There were not many. So whatever it is, the police should have been able to deal with the issues, and they should have anticipated that when you come to these demonstrations, you might find some of these issues coming up. Look at the Kenya demonstration.
Right.
What happened? Some of these issues cropped up. When it comes to demonstrations, some of these you anticipate it and make sure that you put in place mechanisms to ensure. And I always say, and I agree with John Major, that you should be careful not to turn a democracy into an autocracy. Because when these issues go out there in the international community, Ghana has always been seen as a doyen of democracy on the African continent. These issues don't look too well. The optics are not very pleasant. So whatever it is, I believe that there should be a way to deal with it. My biggest worry was the woman with the child.
Children, actually.
Oh, they were children. I thought it was only
an 8-year-old
a
and a 10-year-old from
that was not good enough.
The grandmother.
There's a grandmother to send 2 young children into that kind of arena. And the fact that they were arrested.
I think she's been one of the
conveners.
That she had endangered them or something by taking them.
Yes.
There.
You might not know her condition at home. Maybe she doesn't have help.
Right.
Maybe the parents of the kids are not around. But that wasn't good enough. For them to even arrest the children and their grandmother. The arrest.
Well, technically, the police says they went under arrest, but
they took them to the police
along
station.
And so many. I mean, I've heard so many stories from there that they couldn't leave their children.
But Ben, you see, they could have. There are shelters. There are safe havens. They could have even called those 2 children's home to keep them for a while.
Was that a realistic? On the spot.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could have. Why do you take a young person to the police station?
Right.
It's very traumatic.
Right.
Even if you are an older person, even if you are going to visit somebody in the police station, it is traumatic. So why do you take a young person to the police station? 2 young children. You don't have to take them to a police station. Immediately, you can even let the young person reside in the home of one of the female police women. There are so many ways of doing things immediately. Okay. Put them under some protective custody. That is not a police station.
When I get to my other guests, I'll find out what their thoughts are. But the final issue I want to run by you so you can run away. There's this talk about this $800 million gas processing plant, the contract, because in the news review we're talking about energy-related matters. Yeah. I don't know how much you've heard of it, but the former president, Mahama, has said that, look, the Akufo-Addo administration should not saddle whichever administration will come into power from next year with a contract of this nature and all of it. From the standpoint of having worked in the energy sector with the PURC, signing a contract of this nature around this time, what does it signal? Right?
No,
wrong, in between?
You have to, I don't know the details of the contract. So you need to look at the details of the contract. What does it entail? Is it worth 800 million? What are we looking at? Do you get me? It's not even saddling it with the government that is coming, saddling it with Ghanaians, putting it on us, because at the end of the day, I believe maybe it's a loan or it's something like that. We are going to pay for this. Is it worth it? Do we really need it at this time? Is it a priority? Do you get me? So for me, when you are signing contracts in the energy sector, you need to be very careful, because at the end of the day, the burden is on the consumer who uses the electricity or whatever it is. The burden,
or gas.
Gas.
And this, of course, will be for processing.
Yes, for processing, yes. Yeah. This is for
electricity.
That
the electricity is.
Yes, so 800 million, a gas pipeline, where is it going to? They took a Mary to Ashanti region to make sure that, there's no like lights off or load shedding in Ashanti. I was in Kumasi at the weekend. The lights kept going on and off.
This past weekend.
I went to visit my mother, who is 95. The lights just went on, and I had to do other things. The lights just went on and off. And I asked them, they said that is what it is. But there's a Mary, they spend so much money to put a Mary in Ashanti region, in Kumasi. So is this contract worth what it's supposed to be? It is very, very important that we look at that.
How about the timing and the value of the contract? Let's assume
Have they gone through all the procurement?
This is close to $1 billion.
$1 billion. What kind? You see, we need to know where from where. If a pipeline is being laid, it's from where to where. What has been done before and how much? It's a bit on the high side, but where is it going? Where is the pipeline being laid? Is it under the scissor fiber optic? What is it? We need to find out what it is. And for me, if it is worth the investment and it is going to improve electricity and delivery.
The timing.
And the timing, this is, I mean, how long? It's about 2 months, 3 months for us to go into another era. Whichever era it is, we are going to go into another era. I mean, certainly, some of these things, when you are coming to the end of your term, sometimes you need to hold on. And, I mean, let the next person come and look at it holistically. Otherwise, there will be accusations and counter-accusations. As it stands, I don't think that we have any issue with electricity generation as it is, that you need to do it as fast as you want it. We have adequate electricity around. We have adequate infrastructure. So some of these things, you need to be careful, I mean, how you go about it. But we need to get better particulars. From here, I would find out what exactly it is.
Right.
Maybe it's good. Maybe there's an urgency for it. But till we know that, I think timing is not...
And I mean, I just wanted us to look at the timing because not too many of those details are available. But I just wanted to find out from you in the energy space whether the timing works
the timing is
as far as politics.
Yes, but we need to have better particulars. What is it going to solve?
Right.
Is there an urgency? Is there a problem that if it is not started now, is it a facility that it's time bound?
Right.
Or it is a loan? We need to find that. Maybe it's a World Bank facility that is time bound. We need to look at it and see exactly what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Nanaya, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let me quickly go on Zoom, interact with Dr. John Osai Kwapong and, of course, Austin Gami. Let me start with Dr. Osai Kwapong, of course, the CDD fellow. Doc, can you hear me?
Yes, Benjamin, I can hear you.
Okay, so let me start with both of you gentlemen on the same front, starting with the campaign activities so far and this, you know, strenuous call for an audit of the register. I don't know what your quick thoughts are on that. Not necessarily quick, but what your thoughts are on that matter.
So initially, I mean, if there are issues and concerns about the voters register, yes, you want all of those fixed because a credible voters register goes to the heart of ensuring that you can have, an election whose credibility and whose integrity is accepted by all, as well as, improving the confidence in not just the process, but also in the eventual outcomes of the election. I am of the opinion that when you call for a forensic audit, then it means that whatever anomalies have been detected are so egregious that the EC's internal administrative processes will not be sufficient enough to address those anomalies and correct them. So my initial position was always the issues have been identified. Can you allow the EC to use its internal administrative processes to fix them? Go back to the political parties, let them see the fixes that have been made and see the extent to which they are satisfactory. And then you treat the call for an audit, especially a forensic audit, as a last resort. But also keeping in mind that you're also working with under time constraints. But to have or not to have an audit, or whether you accept the EC's assurance that we can use our internal processes to fix this, also boils down to the question of trust. I've said this over and over again, on your platform, that in an atmosphere of deep mistrust, when your electoral commission as a body is only enjoying a 10% trust level as per the most recent Afrobarometer, it doesn't give people that confidence, even if their internal administrative processes are capable of fixing some of these issues. And that is what this is boiling down to. And that is the situation in which the EC finds itself in. But for me, my position had always been, if you can appeal to the better angels of the EC as an institution and allow them to use their internal administrative processes to fix this, and then if the fixes are not satisfactory, then you want to pull the card of a forensic audit. But that has been my position on how we can resolve some of these discrepancies and emerging issues.
Mr. Game, I don't know what you make of that development and the push for an audit, justified or not, and what will that do or take away from the credibility of the 2024 elections?
Thank you, Benjamin. You see, when it comes to election, we all know it's not just an event. It's a process leading to an event. And the genesis of any credible election, wherever in the world, Ghana no exception, is hinged on the credibility of the electoral material, especially that of the register. You know, in recent times, even internal elections in some of the constituencies, whether NDC or MPP, especially the recent one in Wale, people resisted because of register. At the end of the day, it took the court to, say that go and do it. And even that, it ended in a kind of a stalemate until one party gave up, and that was it. So clearly, this is a national election, and therefore, we cannot be legalistic in a EC or any other body saying that I will insist in doing whatever pleases me. Election is not going to be conducted and participated in by the Electoral Commission. It's going to be participated in by over 18-point-something million people. So the Electoral Commission only has a duty to ensure that the credibility that is being called on by the stakeholders, especially those who are in opposition, is very key. And I want to enjoin them to agree that when they go to their meeting tomorrow, they should not go and have a position that this is my position. No, they should be open up to a conversation that would enable both parties to see eye to eye and agree that, look, these are the things that have been pointed out by these other colleagues. This is how we have done it. We are left with ABC, because at the end of the day, the fact that they have identified errors and are taking steps to correct them and are saying that they will not do, exhibition again in the various polling stations, and that they're going to do it online, when we all know the literacy level of this country vis-a-vis...
The EC has said that, I don't know whether we all will have this opportunity. I didn't get to check my name, but with all these issues now, I'm eager. I want to know, is my name on the register? Am I at the right polling station and all of that? But It has come out in recent times to say that it has addressed these challenges and that in the coming days, it is going to give the opportunity to the political parties to take a look. Should that suffice?
It may not be enough. I think that if the recent statistics is anything to go by, the last physical exhibition they did was just about 30-point-something or 35%. And that clearly shows that people were not available to check their names. And what about online? How many people in some of the villages you and I came from that will be able to go online and check online? And only on D-Day we go to the polling stations to find out that my name is not there or has been removed, even through this correction that they are doing. But even Benjamin, the worst one is that when the corrections that they said they have done, the hidden difficulties are about the Tamale South and the Pusiga event, when people could go behind the commission into the system to go and dislodge people and transfer there somewhere. They cannot vouch for it until some level of audit. If they don't want to use the word forensic, fair enough. Some audit must be done, whether by way of the political parties sitting down with experts and ensuring that these things are done in a manner that is appropriate.
Right.
We cannot say that it is a fait accompli, and we should stop using the word we are independent and that nobody should talk about it. We should stop doing those things. That is a child play. We should stop it.
Dr. Osai-Kwapong, so, I mean, these are some of the developments. Do you feel it will take away anything from election 2024 if this audit is not done? Briefly.
I don't think so, on condition that whatever the EC is able to do, and as Mr. Agami said, in their meeting tomorrow, whatever their posture is and the assurances that they can give that, look, truly, these things have been addressed, then it shouldn't taint the 2024 election, in my opinion.
Right. Let's quickly take a look at galamsey and its ravages. Of course, we are looking at Democracy Hub and what has happened. Same questions I posed to Naya Jantua on the back of the actions the state has taken. Do you feel it's overkill in terms of how these brothers and sisters have been treated? Alan Chairman Singh says it's unconstitutional, it's unlawful. Nana Frimpong says they should be released immediately. And now the Commonwealth Human Rights, also wading into the matter. What do you make of it, and what signal does it send? Could this have been addressed better?
Yes, and there's something the president always says that has stuck with me. He often says that not until you find yourself on the wrong side of the law, you would not fully appreciate the importance of due process. And so, yes, on the one hand, nobody would applaud any citizen in the exercise of their constitutional guaranteed right to protest should there be infractions of the law as well. Nobody would applaud that. But in dealing with citizens whom, in the opinion of and the assessment of the law enforcement agencies, have fallen on the wrong side of the law, you also cannot deny them due process. And you also cannot refuse to treat them humanely just, because they have, quote unquote, broken the law. And so I agree with those who say, look, it is fine if you want to charge them with, any laws that you believe, they have broken and all of that. But you also cannot overlook the fact that these are citizens, your own fellow citizens, who must be treated humanely and who cannot be denied due process.
And there is that situation, Austin Game. I don't know what you make of it. It doesn't seem to be putting us in a very positive light. I've even read stories on the international front, including the BBC, and it appears we are getting a lot of negative attention on this. Your take?
Yeah, it's most unfortunate. I think we have to elevate our capabilities to the next level at this point in time if we want to be relevant in the world stage. We have to move away from so-called limited professionalism to skilled professionalism. I say so because the police did their best, but their best was not enough. The point is that is why they are called police service, not police force. And that is why their professionalism should be skillful. Because if you take the claim by even some ordinary citizens who have maybe political interest in these matters, clearly the police have the opportunity to create corridors for people to be able to go to 37 if they want medical attention at 37. The police have opportunity to be able to create the scene for the demonstrators to continue to demonstrate for the 3 days they wanted to demonstrate, because they did it very well day 1, day 2. It was until day 3 that they started out of anger or frustration on the part of the police itself.
Well, actually, it was from day 1. Day 2 didn't even happen, so to speak. Day 3.
Okay.
So it was more like day 1 in some of the scenes, which
I appreciate that.
Led to.
So clearly what it is that the police could have managed this thing 20 million times better. They didn't go the next level, the next step. Look, the long and short of it is that this is not an issue that should have landed on the doorsteps of the court. Now the court is also caught up because the Attorney General's Department decided to go to court to pursue this case, to teach the people a lesson. I think we should move away from this kind of positional type of managing situations.
But at the same time, for example, those who tore down, billboards, sort of mini billboards belonging to the ruling administration and all of that, that was not right, was it?
I agree with everybody, and including myself, that they shouldn't have done that. It's not necessary. It's not part of the thing that they went there to do. But that said, it was done. Is that the way we should handle it? Certainly not. I agree 100%. They should not have torn down the billboards. They should not have bent anything. But that said, they have done it. And so is this the second order action? Is it appropriate? It's inappropriate. We shouldn't have done that as a nation. Look, we are talking about building
the AG's office. Basically, the talk is, well, you've broken the law on some fronts. The law is taking its course.
Whose child has not misbehaved before? Who said you, Benjamin, have not misbehaved when you were a child coming up? If your parents want to go the hard way, you will not be sitting where you are sitting now. All of us made mistakes. We are trained. We have come to where we've come to. I won't do what people are doing now. I will not misbehave. I will not repeat my mistakes. And we are repeating our mistakes every now and then. When are we going to grow as a nation?
On the back of this, the National Peace Council caught a lot of flack on social media to the point where it had to come out with a statement. And even the statement, it was chastised for the statement, because in its statement, it said there that those who had been allegedly arrested, when everybody knew that these people had been arrested and, they were taking on ferociously. The role of the National Peace Council, and Dr. Kwapong, I'm coming to you, both in this electoral talk about an audit and this galamsey talk about how the Democracy Hub members are being dealt with. Some people feel, this whole National Peace Council setup, we probably don't even need it. What is your take?
In principle, having a National Peace Council is a good idea. You have a body who is charged with, ensuring the peace, the stability of the country's democracy, its environment, etc., especially as we approach another election. I believe the issue that citizens struggle with is the consistency that they want to see. The consistency in terms of when and how often the Peace Council activates its voice on some of these issues of national importance. And I believe that it is when, on some occasions, they feel the Peace Council should activate its voice and they don't hear from the Peace Council, that is when they start feeling, if we don't see these things from you, then at the end of the day, we question the relevance of the institution and the role that you've been designed to play. But I don't believe that it's not an appropriate institution to have, or it's not a good institution to have. It's a question of how consistently they activate their voice on these issues that they perceive can threaten the peace and stability of the country's democracy.
Ahead of election 2024, has the Peace Council lived up to expectation for you, especially under the current leadership?
I think they can. There's still room for improvement. That's what I'll say. There's still room for improvement. They can do a lot more to mediate some of these conversations and some of these pockets of tensions that keep rising.
Right.
And I hope that they would do a lot more.
Austin Game, same questions to you.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm sure they are listening to you. Beyond a labor relations expert job that we do, we are best in mediation. I think that on the continent of Africa, if you need one body that is clearly a mediating organization, you can count on Game and Game. And let me tell you what we have done. I have offered myself. I have gone to see the National Peace Council, and I told them it will not take me more than 90 minutes if I sit with the Electoral Commission and NDC. We will resolve this matter within 90 minutes. And I mean what I'm talking about. I've told them they are an impartial body. They must use neutral language, and they must be sure that they are proactive.
Which entity are you? Because I posed a question about the National Peace Council. So I'm
talking about National Peace Council.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
I went to them, sat with them. So what I'm telling you is what I've told them. I didn't write to them. I went physically, sat with them, and exposed everything to them and what they can do to help resolve these matters. I think that we are wasting our energy and time and fighting on things that are really irrelevant. National Peace Council is, to me, very important body, but they must be proactive, they must be impartial, truly and true, and they must use neutral language and be sure that nobody can find fault with them. And I'm unhappy about the way when people talk about them because they have given themselves up that way. They are not supposed to be doing the mediation themselves. They are supposed to get experts, farm out, and let people help them do their job. No one alone can do everything. But definitely we have some experts in this country, and they are capable of helping to resolve these matters. These galamsey matters are no issue. Look, we must bring these political parties together. And I've said it on your network, that bring the president, the sitting president, bring the two main people plus maybe Alan and a few others, let them commit themselves to saying what they want to say about galamsey as we the citizens want. Because the water body is not the personal property of the president. The water body, the forest, is not the personal property of them. It's for the people of Ghana. And therefore, we do not expect any bodies like the CSOs, every other institution to as if we are begging people. We are not begging anybody.
Right.
They must come to the table and let's deal with the issues.
Okay.
Deal with the issues.
Right. Gentlemen, I'll give you 30 seconds each. Just final comments. It's a wrap on this conversation. 30 seconds each. I'll start with you, Dr. Osai Kwapong.
Well, we are getting closer and closer to the election. I just hope that whatever issues, concerns that we have would be resolved in a way that we can all go to the polls confident that the process has been fair and impartial, and also eventually when the results are declared, we will have confidence in the outcome that it's been free and fair.
Great. Mr. Game?
I think that we are getting somewhere, but whatever we are doing is not enough. We need to step up. And I will urge all the bodies like organized labor, the CSOs, the media, the National Peace Council, the Christian Council, and all those who are interested. in making sure that we do not leave anything in the hands of the political parties alone and presidency alone. We should all be interested in ensuring that whatever is to be done to bring about credibility, particularly of the elections, and also especially about the issue about galamsey, we should be proactive, we should insist and bring them together and tell them what we, the citizens, also want done for us.
Okay.
I look forward to Ghana having a peaceful election, but the peaceful election begins now with all the citizens getting involved.
Thank you. You just heard labor relations expert Austin Game. Also joining him for the conversation were actually Dr. John Osai Kwapong, a CDD fellow, and Nanaya Achimpim Jantua, former general secretary of the CPP and formerly with the PURC. Before we take a break and come through with the Nchimchim Museum and what they're going to be sharing with us this morning, the Energy Commission and the Ministry of Energy, in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service and the Ghana TVET Service, present the 5th edition of the Energy Commission Senior High School's Renewable Energy Challenge. This challenge aims at developing the research skills of senior high school students and promoting technological innovation in renewable energy. Competing fiercely in this thrilling competition are the following schools: Obuasi SHTS, St. James Seminary SHS, Ola Girls SHS, Hantaman Girls SHS, Bando SHS, and Dabokba Technical Institute. Join us as we invite you for the grand finale on Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024 at the Accra International Conference Center. Catch the live broadcast right here on Joy News at 9 a.m. This event is proudly supported by the GIZ, Ashesi University, the French Development Agency, the VRA, and others. Do stay. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back on the AM show. Let me tell you a bit about the Nchimchim Museum, which is proud to present the 2024 Ancestor Veneration Ceremony, a powerful annual tradition that celebrates African heritage and honors the ancestors. Now, supported by the Adibia Royal Clan of Adan, this year's ceremony will take place on October the 5th, 2024 in Nuhalenya, Adan, Greater Accra region. Now, the event will feature sacred prayers for ancestors and twins, fertility blessings, communal cleansing, dining, and a screening of the documentary. We'll get into the details of that, but we do know that guests are encouraged to wear white, respecting the sacredness of the healing space and contributing to the museum's green initiatives. Ahead of the event, we have this interaction with the museum CEO and creative director, Kwame Akoto Bamfo, about the significance of the ceremony and its impact on cultural heritage. Mr. Akoto Bamfo, a very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
It's really good having you. Thank you for joining the conversation this morning. Just start by telling us a bit about the Nchimchim Museum and this annual celebration. Let's start from there.
Well, the Nchimchim Museum has been created to cater for our traditional systems, our culture, and particularly, let me take this, it's been created to serve our people's oral and visual traditions. So what I mean by this is that we are not focusing on very, very Western approaches to education and cultural preservation, but we are focusing on systems that are peculiar to our people and systems that our people can identify with as a museum. So that's what we do.
I see. What inspired you to establish the Ancestor Veneration Ceremony at the Nchimchim Museum? How did this come about and how has it evolved over the years?
Well, as part of our cultural preservation practices, we are just continuing a system that is already existing. So we didn't, I won't say that I created it. What I have done with myself, with my team, with the Adibia royal family is to continue a system that has existed for centuries. And then also, by continuing it, preserve it. Yes.
I see. And the symbolism of same, the symbolism behind the different rites. You talk about prayers for ancestors, fertility blessings, and all of that. What is the symbolism of that?
Well, it is everything. It's got to do with everything for Ghanaians and for the African diaspora as a whole. For a long time, the imagery of traditional systems have unfortunately been misconstrued. It's been destroyed. It's been misrepresented and made demonic. Made represented in ways that even our people don't identify with. We are in a country, we are on a continent where traditional people haven't been oppressed, helped to fight for independence. And Ghana, in particular, has been able to put forward 3 religions or 3 systems. We have 2 Abrahamic, that's the Christian and the traditional, Christian and the Islamic, and then we also have the traditional. But for some reasons, we have stood on the sidelines and have allowed our traditional systems to be misrepresented. And it means everything to us if we could see these traditional systems for what it is. Not every traditional system even identifies as a religion. And see it for what it is and use this system to protect and honor our own heritage. So the symbolism is everything. It's something that our people identifies with. It's not strange to us. And it allows the rest of the populace, the rest of Ghanaians and Africans in the diaspora who identify with this visual and verbal systems, oral systems, to be able to use that, which has always been available to us for centuries, to honor the images of our ancestors, or those who have come before us. And by ancestors, I mean your father, my father, I mean Kwame Nkrumah, I mean Marcus Garvey, I mean King Fuo, and everybody that you know. We are not talking about some strange beings. We are talking about people that have contributed to our society and to the African diaspora.
I see. And of course, all of those who came before us. But I'm curious, I do know that you are partnering with the Edibia Royal Clan of Adan for this year's ceremony. How is that partnership panning out? How is it adding depth to this year's ceremony?
Well, it means everything to what we are doing as a museum, and for me as a cultural activist and educator. It's continuing to ground our work in cultural preservation, because we are not creating anything outside of a system, which has been unfortunately how museum and cultural preservation has been looked at. You are supposed to work with the people. You are not supposed to build a museum and say, we've built a museum for you, so you come and inhabit it. You work together with the community to build the museum. And this is exactly what we are doing. The Adibia royal family are our land hosts. They are the closest. In fact, everybody who is part of the Ga Dangbe royalty has been our host. Accra, we are looking at Accra, but they have opened up to the rest of Ghana and to the rest of the world to host what we are doing, because as much as they are the host, they also identify that This is a national need. This is an African diaspora need. So it's actually going very well. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning. I was trained or raised by Akan, and this has been a great opportunity to learn so much about Ghana and Greek culture.
I see. And another area of interest for me, that documentary, which is part of this entire ceremony, The Art of Healing Descendant Pain, it will be screened ahead of the ceremony. I'm curious to find out how it aligns with the general themes of veneration and healing feeding into this ceremony.
Well, the Art of Healing documentary traces the roots of my work. I am Kwame Akoto-Bamfo, artist, art educator, cultural activist, and my work with the community and the purpose for which we have created a space that is not only helping to heal us as a people, but to heal the rest of the African diaspora. It is pinpointing particular areas in Ghanaian and African history, particularly African enslavement, and how it affects our current times, and how and why we are using art to heal ourselves, art and education to heal ourselves from the legacies of colonialism and African enslavement.
Maybe my final bit to you before I take your concluding remarks. We do know of the ravages of plastic waste, of even used clothing, about 40% of which end up on our beaches. We know of the ravages of galamsey as far as our environment is concerned. So let me just feed all of that into this. The Inchinchim Museum is promoting a green, plastic-free environment. Why is sustainability important in maintaining the sacredness of cultural heritage events like this one?
The African traditional systems, and again, I continue to use systems because we are not confining ourselves to religions. And so we are inviting everybody to come and join us, Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, scientists, to come and join us. The African traditional systems promote harmony with nature. And cleanliness, like most religions would say, is next to godliness. We cannot be on the sidelines and allow plastic waste and pollution of water bodies, especially even now with the crisis we are facing with galamsey, to disrupt that harmony with nature. And so in Inchinchim Museum, we are doing our part, but we don't exist in a vacuum. You and I and everybody listening is part of the museum. You know, you and I forms the protection for our own heritage. And it begins with how we relate to nature, how we keep our environments clean. And we are hoping that by identifying this and connecting it to our traditional ancestor veneration this year, people will remove that notion that the traditional systems are dirty and they are demonic, they are uncouth, and be able to relate to how our ancestors harmonize with our environment, protected it, and continue to protect it for the future.
Yeah. Any final words, any parting shots for us, Mr. Akoto-Bamfo?
Well, I will say that let's all play our part. I'm not on air to promote African traditional religion. I'm here to preserve it. I'm on air to remind us that we are not pushing something that is not already part of us. During all of our independence celebration, you find that we identify all three religions. We all come, when Ghana has a key role in showing how we can harmonize. And so we don't promote anything above the other. But we are here, or I am here, to remind us that these systems are codes of conduct, and we should not fear them. There's no human sacrifice or any terrible thing happening when you come to ancestor veneration festivals. These festivals are there to conscientize us with our relations with the past, with the environment, and with fertility and blessings. And these are the very, very positive things that you are going to experience when you come to our events. We are particularly very happy with the progress with the community and with the Ghana community, what they've done for us. We are particularly very happy with all the other tribes and people in the diaspora who have continued to foster and protect this union. And we are asking Ghanaians and people who haven't heard about this to use this as an opportunity to not just patronize us, but help us to project protection of the environment, protection of our traditional system, and then, protection of our heritage.
Thank you so much for joining the conversation. Of course, it's all about the Inchinchim Museum, which is proud to present the 2024 Ancestor Veneration Ceremony. Who joined me for this conversation? The museum's CEO and Creative Director, Kwame Akoto-Bamfo. Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Thank you so much.
Before we take a breather and come through with our next batch of conversations, hello, Ghana. Your favorite radio stations are back on TuneIn. Guess what? Joy FM, Love FM, Adom FM, Asempa FM, and Inshra FM. All your beloved multimedia group brands are now back on TuneIn. So tune in. Wherever you are, we've got you covered. Yes, Joy FM, Love FM, Adom FM, Asempa FM, and Inshra FM are back on TuneIn. So tune in to the best of news, music, sports, and entertainment from Ghana's top stations. Anytime, anywhere, on TuneIn. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store to download TuneIn and listen to Joy FM, Love FM, Adom FM, Asempa FM, or Inshra FM to stay connected and entertained. Speaking of which, we'll bring you more of same right here on the AM show after the break. Do stay. Welcome back. It's still the AM show. Yes, Nipaya Deosai. So we are giving the right accolades to those who went and did us proud at the 28th Ghana Journalism Awards. And, well, let me just say, joining me in the studio, the man of the moment, sports journalist of the year. I tease this gentleman a lot, and he's here. I wanted to do him some small, but I will not. Congratulations.
You're not doing me. You're doing yourself.
You know what it reminds me of? That song. Do you remember?
Which one?
If you do good, you do for yourself. If you do bad. In fact, I listened to it only a few days ago, and it reminded me of way back when we were listening to some sort of music. But congratulations.
Thank you.
Sports Journalist of the Year.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
Proud, excited, and a sense of responsibility, actually.
All right. Let me also acknowledge that there were 9 winners from our media group, 2 from the Adom brands. But for Joy News, we had Erastus Asaredonko, last year's ultimate winner. He was Illegal Mining Reporter of the Year. David Andor, I beg your pardon, one of my buddies here. Photojournalist of the Year. Clinton Yebua, Best Student Journalist of the Year. We're so proud of him. Muftan Abila Abdullahi, of course, Sports Journalist of the Year. And of course, PM Express, Best TV Program in English. And then the Joy Super Morning Show, Best Radio Program in English as well. Then, how can we forget? Online, we had Dr. Nesta Chris Abiana Pasram, Best Feature online. But let's start our engagements with some of them, starting with
Emmanuel Kwesi Deborah.
Emmanuel Kwesi Deborah as
also
well.
won for the science.
The sciences, indeed.
Award,
science and technology. But let's bring in Evans Mensah. He, of course, editor and also host of PM Express. Evans, good morning. Hello, Evans Mensah.
Good morning, Benjamin.
Okay, I think I heard Evans.
Good morning, Benjamin. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, yes.
All right, good to know. Good to know. First bit, initial reactions to winning, this Gong TV program of the year, PM Express. I know it's a lot of work that the team puts into it. You are the face of that program. What did it mean for you to carry this award home?
Well, it means more responsibility. It means that you cannot drop the bar any lower, because now the expectation is that you have to develop and put out content that does not only appeal to the audience, but addresses their fundamental needs. And what we've tried to do on PM Express is to bring fact-based, thoroughly researched content to our audiences. Because really, when you go through the day, you're bombarded with a barrage of news items. At the end of the day, when you take the biggest story of the day, you want people to understand that story. You want them to leave the show appreciating the basis for what has happened during the day, understanding the context, but also helping them make sense of it. And that is why you will see that at the beginning of the show, our research team will put in a lot of work in dissecting this with research, with context, with analysis that we do. And so it just means that, yes, the work that the team is doing, yes, has been recognized, but it also means added responsibility.
And for you, I mean, where does this lead? Where should this lead? You started by saying more responsibility, but for the show and maybe the rest of our programming, especially with the high office you occupy, where should this lead us?
To do more. And for us, it's really about the people. I mean, it's the stories that addresses the needs of our audiences in their communities, speaks to the big national issues of concern to majority of the people who watch us, who read our stuff, who listen to us on radio, and now digital is also big now. When the issues address their fundamental needs, there's a likelihood that that particular story then becomes more impactful. We need to cover Ghana better on the back of this, because the evidence shows, and from the awards that we've received, show that when you extend the coverage to communities that are underreported, that's where you begin to get a bit more attention. It is really about the people fundamentally. Let's call them, we call them our audiences, because they are fundamentally why we wake up every day to come to the office and work. Right. Because we believe that they are out there who will watch our content and it will be meaningful to them in their daily lives. For example, Mustao's story gave us the depth of understanding to a subject that we've all watched, but we didn't quite appreciate. Erastus's work in the field is the reason why we've seen that much attention brought to the subject of illegal mining. Indeed. He won the Ultimate Award last year, and he's won the reporting part of it this year. PM Express, obviously the work that we do every day, taking these complex issues and helping people understand them. It only means that going forward, we need to do a bit more. But for me, it also means that, again, you see the awards coming from Kumasi, 3 of them coming from Kumasi, Erastus, Clinton, and Pasram. It shows that when you extend the work beyond Accra, you get a bit more impact also. And so that's what we're going to be focusing a bit more this year, but also next year, covering Ghana better.
Well, Evans, thank you so much for shedding light, sharing these thoughts with us. But let me find out who else is available joining us. So Clinton Yabua, Best Student Journalist of the Year, is on. But let me bring in Erastus Asaridonko first, Illegal Mining Reporter of the Year. Erastus, last year you took the ultimate. This year, there were expectations that you could do a repeat. That would have been quite a feat. You got Illegal Mining Reporter of the Year. Still another great feat. We also noticed that one of the winners from Channel 1 television actually walked in with a placard saying, "Stop galamsey now." What did it mean for you winning this award? And how did you feel when you saw that colleague journalist with the placard?
Well, I was elated. I think the fight against illegal mining has been endorsed by almost every union and every Ghanaian today, more than when we started. And to me, that alone is an award for me, for people now to get on board, for more media organizations to now get on board, the unions, realizing that we are heading towards doom and that they all need to come on board. To me, that is something. And to cap it all, to see Fred Duho coming in. In fact, when he was coming in and holding the placard, I thought it was a demonstrator who has entered the hall. Until I realized that it was him, and holding the placard with, something that has been used to cross the lips, signifying that people are being tried to as a means to get them not to talk about the issue. And so really, I was happy about it. I think that it was a positive defiance. I stood up to clap for him. And for somebody to come take it off the stage, that was where I had a problem with it. It should have been there for the president to see it. And I was worried that when it got to the president's turn to speak, though the UN resident, Mr. Abani, has even commended the gentleman for holding the placard and for talking about the environment, I was expecting the president to at least mention the polluted rivers across the country, which is a major, major issue today. But I was so disappointed that his speech never even touched what today many Ghanaians see as an existential threat.
And there was also the speech by the GJA president and some of what he said about journalists and protection, that too sidestepped by Mr. President. But for you, the work you have been doing, maybe my final bit to you, the work you have been doing, you've been endangering life and limb to bring us some of these stories. Are you seeing the sort of progress you would have wanted to see on the back of the work, the sacrifices you're making?
I must say that, yes, I want to see more. Yes, I want to see this canker brought to an end, which is not beyond us. If you ask me, it is something as simple as ABC. If the president really has the political will to stop it, it will stop today. And it's sad that we are choosing votes, political votes, over the lives of the Ghanaians who vote for these politicians. And that is very sad. And so, yes, we risk our lives on a daily basis. In fact, I put that of my family at risk every single day. My mom keeps telling me to quit this job. Even today, she wants me to quit this job. She says she's going to pay me with her pension. And she keeps telling me that. But I feel that if we stop this, then that is the end. Already, all major rivers are polluted, contaminated, and some communities are grappling with shortage of water and are using chemicals to try to purify the polluted water and use it to cook. And to me, it spells doom for all of us.
Wow.
And it's not something that we will want to stop anytime soon. So yes, there is a risk, but there is a more risk if we stop.
Right.
And that's why we keep doing what we do.
And that's why we keep doing what we do. You are not alone in this, because some of us, our family members, are always, even in church, they're asking whether we are safe based on the work we do. So keep up the good work you're doing. Let me bring in Clinton Yeboah. And on the back of illegal mining, of course, that infamous one we've seen in recent times, you know, an MPP politician saying that, they will not stop illegal mining to lose votes. With that thinking, only God knows where we are headed. Clinton Yeboah, Best Student Journalist of the Year. I listened to a bit of what you had to say. I'm so proud of you, Clinton. But how did you feel in the aftermath of all this? And what does it mean for you moving forward?
I think the feeling has been very good.
especially having people who believed in you coming back to say that. I think the feeling is good.
Right.
Having people who believed in you come back to say that we know you are made for this, we know you are doing well. And so it's some sort of motivation to me. And to my career, I feel this is just the starting point, and it's a huge motivation enough for me to strive and do more. I feel that there's more burden, more responsibility on me to begin bigger things and do bigger things.
And of course, we are looking forward to some of those bigger things. But can we get the sneak peek of what to expect from Clinton Yeboah?
All right, so highlighting human interest stories have been something that I take particular interest in, particular importance in, because I feel if I am highlighting abuses against people, it can happen to me. Yeah. And so if it can happen to me, I better to tell it in a better way. Add my voice to the fight against abuse and stuff. So I feel the importance that I accrue to reporting these stories are something that keeps me going. And that is also to say that since there are more problems, we keep saying that problems will be finished. So since there are more problems and more societal menaces to highlight, means I have also the responsibility to keep doing more.
Right. And we're so proud of you once more, Clinton Yeboah, best student journalist of the year. But I'm going to cap off the conversation in the studio. Someone I would have wanted to speak to on a day like this, David Andor. He's not joining the conversation, but we celebrate him all the same. Photojournalist of the year. This man has been for donkey years doing amazing work. David Andor, we salute you. In the studio, my main man. By the way, I'm usually, ensuring that this guy looks spick and span before
in fact,
he goes,
you goes on air. So take your credit. If correct.
Oh, even this morning.
Collect them. Not this morning.
Hey.
No, the thing is that because I can't tie the thing. I cannot tie
You don't have to expose all of this.
So when you tie it for me and I go home, I hang it. When I'm coming back, I pick it again.
Then you pick it again.
If you remove it, fight go past.
Wahala don't come. But honestly, I'm so proud of you. You've been doing amazing stuff in sports. Prime Take, you are here having these fantastic conversations. What does this mean to you? Let us see the award. Let us see the award. So Muftau Nabila Abdullahi, we tease him that when he's on air mentioning his name, there's usually a pause somewhere. Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
Why that pause? So there he is.
Because my father, he needs.
Oh, we didn't get to. Oh. So focus it on this camera. Yes. So Muftau Nabila Abdullahi is the winner for Sports Journalist of the Year 2024, and of course it's signed by the Ghana Journalists Association president. That looks beautiful. Yeah. What does this mean? You've already started talking about that, but to win this, after all the work, after all the effort, after all the interviews, sometimes I'm even stunned at how you get some of these people to speak. You together with Fento Tahiro Fento, and before that, our very own Gary Al Smith, who now has.
In fact, Gary just called me.
Gary just called you. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ben, I don't know, but just as I mentioned, it's a huge responsibility has been placed on my shoulders. What it suggests is that what I do, people pay attention to it. I need to maintain the highest standards of journalism. I need to continue to go behind the story and not just the story, because something must happen before there is a story. Ivan spoke about the impact of that story I did that won this award. And so clearly I will have to continue to do that and even do better. Over the years, I've had the privilege of coming second at the world level when the AIPS organized its World Awards in 2019. It was won by one Nigerian journalist, Oluwashina Okeleji. I came second. 2021, I was third. 2022, I did a documentary. You recall that 11-year-old boxer from Jamestown?
Ah, yeah. I remember that one.
Yes, it was rated among the top 5 stories or documentaries that were entered for the AIPS Awards in 2022. So
it's been a long time coming.
It's been coming, and in fact, Gary, in 2021, actually said that there wasn't any journalist in this country that deserved Journalist of the Year more than me. So, and those days, I was always that kind of person.
And he himself recently swagged,
yeah, swag.
you know,
yeah. I've not been interested in entering for awards, but you know, a Rama, she'll come chasing you. You have to apply. And this is the second time I entered a story for GJ Awards, and it won it. So it's a massive responsibility for me to continue to do great things.
Well, and we look forward to those great things. We'll tease you, we'll push you, we'll prop you, we'll celebrate you like we're doing now.
Don't push me into a gutter.
No. We'll push you to higher heights.
Thank you.
So, congratulations.
Thank you.
And congratulations to the rest of the team. Finally, though, let me do Dr. Nesta Abiana Pasram. She got the best feature for online. Dr. Pasram, a very good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
That's refreshing, your voice. Anyway, so what did it mean to you, you know, achieving this feat? I see you from time to time, some of your features here and there, and thankfully you won this gong. What did it represent for you, and what is it going to inspire you to do in the coming year?
I would say that it means a whole lot to be able to win the best online feature. I mean, I put in a lot of effort into putting that feature together, aside all the research that went into it. I mean, thankfully, I'm a researcher. I'm communications officer for the Global Health and Infectious Diseases Research Group at KCCR. So I pulled onto all of that experience, looking up a lot of stories, and then doing a lot of interviews as well, and making sure that I'm able to communicate accurately, whatever my topic is. Thankfully, last year I was Kamala Duma's Most Promising Journalist of the Year, and so this year, being able to win Best Online Feature, I'm excited and hopeful that there's so much more that I can highlight. And my passion is to be able to break things down easy enough for everybody to understand, so that they can take home the key message. I work with scientists all the time, and it's pride that we speak the scientific language and nobody understands. But I'm delighted to be able to be a journalist as well, to be able to be that bridge, that breaks things down. And so I'm looking forward to many more detailed, high quality stories that in the future will win more awards.
Well, behold the bridge. Her name, Dr. Nesta Pasram. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining the conversation. From Evans Mensah with the PM Express team, Erastus Asari Donko, Illegal Mining Reporter of the Year. We also had Clinton Yeboah, Best Student Journalist of the Year. Muftau Nabila Abdullah in the studio, Sports Journalist of the Year, and the lady you just heard a short while ago, our very own Dr. Nesta Chris Abiana Pasram, who won the Best Feature online. We'll be right back, and when we return, it's that time of the year, it's that season where the schools tussle in a friendly manner, but Charlie, it can get fierce. I'm talking about the National Science and Math Quiz. Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Does your school feature in the National Science and Math Quiz?
I was a science student. But some of the questions they ask, I often wonder whether if I was taught.
We'll be back with more action in respect of the launch of the National Science and Math Quiz. Do stay. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. It's the 2024 National Science and Math Quiz. It's produced by, I like the feel here, Prime Time Limited. This is a prime time. I'll let her say it. She's in the studio with us. It's sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with Goyle PLC and supported by Pepsodent, Lead for Ghana LBG, Jupay Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, Beta Malt. I always struggle with this. I'm thinking Beta Malt. ALX, Kivo, Bell Beverages, Flora Tissues, Accra College of Medicine, Academic City University College, PMMC Jewelry, GTP, and YFM. And of course, the broadcast of the National Science and Math Quiz is on Joy News. It's supported by NASCO, bringing home happiness. Vitamilk feels good anywhere, anytime. Virtual Security Africa, complete security solutions. Ace Medical Insurance, the new face of healthcare financing. Build Financial Technologies. Do more with less stress. DBS Roofing, we truly are your roofing experts. Syntex Tanks, a strong, a tough. Family Health Medical School, Ghana's premier private medical school. Chopbox Technologies, Action Secondary Technical, Action tops all. So joining me in the studio, Professor Elsie Efa Kaufman. When they get to a certain stage, then you see Prof in her element, and she'll be doing buga. You know, she will not be dancing buga, but she'll be doing buga to the students, and then you see them sweating like nobody's business. She's here in the studio. She joins us for a conversation. Thankfully, she's not grilling me like tilapia. I'm the one on this end. I'll not grill her. I'll just be friendly. And Ms. Nanekia Mensah-Bonsu, who is with Prime Time, the organizers of this event. Ladies, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
How do you feel having come this far? And of course, CIMG Marketing Woman of the Year. I listened to your speech after that, and it was so touching. In respect of your dad, who started this journey. Yeah. But let me start with you. You've come a long way. NSMQ, from where you started to now, the trials of getting sponsors and everything. How did you get here? What has this meant for you?
Well, getting here has... there's so many things that have come together to get us to this point. Of course, the funding from the sponsors, the work from our collaborators, all the teams that work to make the NSMQ successful year in and year out, the schools and the interest, the passion that they also bring to the program. There's a lot that goes into it. And then, of course, from our end, the organizational and management, strategies that we put in place, the hard work, the late nights, everything that goes into it is top notch. And so it's not surprising that we are here. But yes, winning the TV program of the year.
Yeah.
Twice in a row.
At the 35th year annual awards.
This is our second consecutive one and our third since 2017. And then me winning the Marketing One of the Year is a wonderful testament to the quality of the work that we do. And we are grateful to the CIMG for the recognition. We are grateful to everybody who's contributed in any way to the program, not just the NSMQ, but the other things we do. The STEM Festival, for example, is another one that is in this STEM area. And it means a lot to us to have our work recognized. Yes.
To have your work for you.
Yes.
Twice in a row now, and I'm sure that is quite a bit of motivation.
Yes, it is.
For you. Yes. But let me come to Prof. I love your outfit, by the way. Whoever styled this looks good.
Thank you.
You've been the face of the NSMQ, especially from, where the proper grilling starts. What has the experience been like for you?
It's been a wonderful experience. I've been doing it since 2006, so it's a very long time. And every year is special, every year is different, every year brings its own excitement. And so it's been a wonderful experience.
As the competition has continued to create that bout, it's almost bursting on its seams every time. You look at the views, you look at the participation, you look at the energy, the excitement, the schools. How have you prepared yourself mentally, physically for this? Because it's a lot. Sometimes even people will come and say it's like the electoral commissioner versus everybody. And hey, we suspect here you did this, you tweeted this and that. You've had all of those experiences.
Oh, yes.
How have you found your way through?
It's just being purposeful. It's that mental toughness. It's deciding which things you're going to ignore and which things you're going to take seriously. When it comes to being prepared, it takes, it's a whole year experience. It's part of my life now. Some of these things, and you're a professional, so if you don't hone your skills, you lose those skills. And in my discipline, I'm a bioengineer, I'm a biomedical engineer. The field changes every few months. And so keeping up to date.
You must always stay on top of
You
matters.
must always know what is happening, brush up, and then spend a lot of time making sure the questions are just right.
Right.
Yes.
What challenges have you faced in this role, especially where you must always stay on top of issues to also ensure that the questions and everything reflect the times? What sort of challenge has that posed to you?
As I get more and more involved in my main profession, I'm an academic. So I have to spend a lot of my time doing administrative duties now. As you know, I'm now Dean of the School of Engineering Sciences at the University of Ghana.
And we are pushing for more women in those spheres.
I'm the
in
first
STEM.
woman
Exactly.
Dean of the School of Engineering Sciences in the 20-year history. I have a lot of responsibilities. My meetings are endless. And so finding the time to be able to do everything that needs to be done in preparation and in readiness for this, that is my main challenge now. I wish I had 2 extra hours a day. I've been praying for it. My prayers have not yet been answered.
Well, let's see. God has interesting ways of answering prayers. But Naneka, let me come back to you. NSMQ 2024, what's new?
Well,
tell us about it.
Well, the main new thing is that we are going to Cape Coast. So we are going to a new environment with a new vibe, new everything. And so that's the first one. We also have a few new things.
You're hosting the main event in Cape Coast this year?
Yes, Cape Coast.
Okay.
Everything from beginning to the end.
Right.
Cape Coast. So the University of Cape Coast will be our host for this year's NSMQ.
Let's see whether the Central Region schools will be able to capitalize on.
Well,
and show the rest of town something small.
Well, I think that Kumasi did it with Prempe. So this is also their turn to do
agronomy.
Agronomy, exactly.
When it gets there, we'll see.
Exactly, yes. And for the first time, we have 157 schools participating at the national championship. Usually it's 135, but this year we have 157. So, and among them we have 8 private schools. So that's also on the new side. We have some, should I say, musical chairs with the sponsors. Okay. So Prudential Life Insurance is sponsoring the speed race this time. We have Pepsodent sponsoring the highest scorer of the day. Okay. And thanks to their generous offer, we are going to be able to give the prize to not only the school that has the highest points, for the day, but the highest point in each of the centers. So we have 3 centers running this year concurrently.
I see.
Yes.
And there's also the STEM, the STEM projects that you are embarking on.
So the STEM Festival is made up of the mentorship sessions, which is a career guidance program, and then the SciTech, which has the SciTech Fair. So there's the exhibition and then the SciTech Innovation Challenge. So the STEM Festival will be happening in November. So right after we come back from Cape Coast, we are starting the STEM Festival right here in Accra. And so that's, the SciTech is supposed to be the practical complement to the quiz.
Right.
So with the SciTech Fair, we have the exhibition where the students bring in their projects and exhibit them. And then with the Innovation Challenge, they will actually produce the project on location, so within 9 hours and without the help of their teachers. What this means is that whatever project is approved for them to build, by the time they are done with the program, they would know how to do it from scratch by themselves without the aid of their teachers. And that's a skill for life. We're hoping that as the competition goes bigger and stronger, we'll be able to create a pool of young innovators, science and technology innovators for Ghana. So that's the STEM Festival too.
Coming to Prof, 2 years in a row, CIMG TV Program of the Year, National Science and Math Quiz. That must make you definitely proud. I don't know what your most memorable moments are. We ask you this all the time. But I'd also like to find out from you what impact you would say this is having on the educational outcomes of these students and even where they end up in life?
Yes.
We've heard of Lamisi, for example, getting into Harvard and others, but what eventually are the outcomes for them?
Okay. I've been calling for an official study. You know, I'm a researcher, so I'll be asking for things like this.
Empirical evidence.
Yes. It would be nice to have some data that says these are the outcomes and these are the things we see as impact from the program. We don't have that yet. So most of the things we talk about are anecdotal.
Yeah, but I mean, you see things happen here and there.
I interact with a lot of alumni from the National Science and Math. And they have amazing things to say. First of all, they are technically competent. I mean, you are not going to find better students anywhere around the world. If you've been able to go through the rigor it takes to know all of those concepts and to come and sit and compete, you are already a step
top
above.
notch.
Yes. So that's very good. That prepares them very well for university. These days, we also talk about certain skills that our young people should have to be able to deal with the future that is coming. Collaboration. In order to be able to compete on that stage, you would have worked in a team. There's a whole team that gets together to be able to
teamwork.
Yes, to present the contestants that come to sit on stage. You already have that skill. They are also very independent in their thinking. They are very fast in analyzing problems and actually solving problems. Our questions have changed over the years. People used to complain they are not applied enough. If you really want to analyze and check. So our students are developing critical thinking skills by participating. They are able to think through problems. They are gaining problem-solving skills as well. When they go to university, and our students go to the universities around the world, especially they like North America.
Yes.
When they go, they are usually studying engineering or basic science subjects.
Oh.
Extremely well. Find out for yourselves. Here in Ghana, we also, in my own School of Engineering Sciences, we get some of the best. And they are sitting in engineering with me. They are very well prepared. They are positioned to be leaders. Yes. So there's a lot that is happening. There's a lot that this program is providing. One thing that I would like to say is it's a commendation to the consulting team, because we've been able to direct the study of science and math in this country by our selection of questions. You know, they are so competitive that when we bring a question today that they don't know how to solve, you can be sure the following year they would have mastered that skill. So by intentionally picking our concepts to present, we are able to direct the study of science and math in Ghana and even beyond. So it's making a huge impact. I think this program is making a huge impact.
Right. Yes. And we all see it. And that's why we partner you. We partner you to do this.
We need to document it properly. Yes.
Definitely. I totally agree with you. Yeah. Final thoughts. We have to go. But for you, Naneke, I also want you to bring in, alumni, teachers, students. They are all gearing up for this. It's that time of the year where the bragging rights are up for grabs, right? Yes. What can they expect from NSMQ 2024? I'll come to you for your final thoughts on that as well, and it's a wrap. Right. Nanekia, let's do about 30 seconds.
The usual fireworks, the usual surprises. I would advise that they don't take anything for granted, because you don't know what somebody else has learned. You don't know
there have been some giant killers.
Oh, yes. We always are happy when we find the giant slayers. It's always great to see the schools that are traditionally not that well known for science now take on the big ones and excel. And we have prizes that encourage them to do that. We will definitely be looking out for such schools. So the usual fireworks, excitement, the happy, the celebrations, some crying, some shocks, the usual. And
run your mouth, but you better have something to show.
Exactly.
Professor Kaufman, we have to go. Final words.
Yes, I'm looking forward to a very good competition this year as well. Every year has its own issues. Every year has its own excitement. I'm looking forward to all of that. We are ready for them.
You are ready for them?
Yes, yes.
The question is, are they ready for you? That's
they better be.
They better be.
I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So, to the Ghana Education Service, a big thank you to the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education, Goyle PLC, our partner sponsor, Pepsodent, Lead for Ghana LBG, Jupay, Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, Bettermalt, ALX, Kivo, Bell Beverages, Flora Tissues, Accra College of Medicine, Academic City University College, Coronation Insurance, PMMC Jewelry, they are going to be giving us medals, GTP, and of course, multimedia led by Joy News, Joy Prime, and then YFM. So thank you all very much for your contributions to the NSMQ and to helping us promote the study of science and mathematics in our senior high schools.
We thank you for the yeoman's job you're doing. Professor Elsie Efa Kaufman, she's the quiz mistress. Like I said, she'll be doing the grilling, especially in the final stages. And Nanekia Mensa Bunsu with Prime Time Limited. Ladies, thank you for coming. And by the way, both of you look stunning. Thank you for
Thank you very much.
And that's how we cap off the conversation this morning on the AM show. My name is Benjamin Akakwa. I did this together with Sweetie Abochi. Stay tuned for Joy News Desk up next. Of course, tomorrow we'll catch up on the latest installment of the AM show. Bye for now.